This episode is brought to you by McAfee.
Swimsuit, passport, phone with VPN activated.
VPN?
Cell phone service is going to be spotty on vacation, so we'll be using public Wi-Fi.
Sounds sketchy.
Exactly. The networks can leave your personal info, like credit card numbers, exposed to hackers.
McAfee's secure VPN lets you browse and bank safely from wherever, whenever. Learn more at McAfee.com/online protection.
We find Vecna, we end this once and for all, together.
On December 25th.
We have a plan. It's a bit insane. Everyone in?
He knows where we are.
Watch out!
Get ready for one last adventure.
We stay true to ourselves. Stay true to our friends, no matter the cost.
Found you. Stranger Things, Season 5, Volume 2, begins December 25th. Only on Netflix.
Supremacy. And you are the richest nation on earth, and you've done all these things.
Because even with white supremacy, we still accomplish more than anybody in the diaspora.
I understand. Then where is the problem we are here talking about? There is something that is just human. When you find yourself in a certain situation, you cannot explain it, better create a boogeyman fast. But a boogeyman only turns around and imprisons you and your own children. I refuse. There is no psychological effect on any black person on earth. We are just what we are. Different.
But can you, right now, with your wealth and the people that you know, how much land in Chinatown anywhere in the United States can you buy right now?
Which Chinatown? The one here?
Any Chinatown. How much can you buy right now?
Well, I don't know.
0. They won't allow it. How much can you buy in the Diamond District in any place? Let's just start in New York. How much can you buy? How much can you buy? 0.
Yeah. No, let's talk about
no. I'm not giving you
black Americans. I just want to say that. You give me too many history lessons.
No.
I can't verify.
Because you don't know the history.
I'm not going to follow you because you're not a history expert.
No.
Don't give me histories like as if you're teaching a high school kid. Just
no,
ask
I'm not
me the
trying
question.
to teach a high school kid.
You gave me a list of questions and you said we're going to have these discussions. But to go to Nancy, I wasn't born. I wasn't.
No,
there.
you're missing. I'm trying.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Bro Chat, where we can have real and honest conversation, get away from the monotonous conversations about dating and relationships and all the goofy stuff we talk about that's entertaining. But, you know, we here to have some real conversations today, man. No book of. I go by the name of Eli. As always, we got Ace with us.
Yes, indeed. The Dailyrapupcrew, the greatest core with the conversation you've been waiting for. You heard? Ace the GOAT.
Okay. You was waiting all week to say that, wasn't you?
Nah, I just thought about that.
Yeah. Last but not least, we got Jew.
It actually flowed. So now I gotta come. Hello, have a great day. Nah, what it do? It's your boy Jew. Thank y'all for tuning in. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. You heard?
Listen, today's conversation is long overdue. Intellectual class with two brilliant minds that are different perspectives about the Black agenda. On one side we got Dave Anderson. On the other side we got Franck, Zanu.
Yes.
Let me start here with Dave. Can you explain to the audience who you are and why you are qualified to have this conversation?
I feel like my qualifications are I'm a foundational Black American, 22-time best-selling author, radio broadcast professional, husband, father, and liver of the Black experience for the past 5 decades. You know, I don't think I need a doctorate, but I got a couple degrees. Okay. It's all right. Aside from that, I've been living, baby.
Okay.
Let's go.
And Frank, can you let the audience know who you are and why you are qualified to have this conversation?
My name is Franck Zanu, of course, from Benin Republic, West Africa. And I've lived in about 9 African countries. I was trained to be a journalist, so I've been a reporter for the Washington Times for 13 years. That allowed me to live in Asia, Europe, Africa. And now, of course, I live in the United States of America. So I have a link. I seems to be the only bridge who can compare what I know from where I came from and then seeing people that we're taking from that place now. So I can look at the two and be able to spell out the similarities and what the root cause of some of the problems are.
The first topic I want to get into is, how do you define culture? And under your definition, do Black Americans have a unique culture? Let me start here with Frank.
Well, I'm glad you used the word unique culture. So yes, I'm sure you all saw the episode, that got everybody on my case, except this gentleman who was the only one brave enough to say, well, look, before I cut him into pieces, let me give him a chance to come into the studio and explain, to the audience.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. People say, oh, you're from Benin. And I'll say, yes. And I say, what's Benin culture like? And then I freeze. Because there's nothing like a Benin culture. Or if you're from Ghana, or if you're from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, there is no such thing. But if you say, oh, you are Yoruba, he said, yes. What is Yoruba culture like? Then he or she is able to start to talk about it. So there are similarities which I'm going to really explain, and you can see it. So I'm first going to ask. He's been on my show. He's seen my thing. I do not put together that show, which I fund from my own pocket because I just want to say things to make people angry. No, it's because I really care. And sometimes I get frustrated about what I have seen from the continent where I come from and what I see here about my great-great-great-grandfathers, uncles, sisters who were taken away. So African Americans would say, well, you're not one like, yes, I know, but I'm walking past my cousin, my nieces every day. So what is in my head is what is in their head. And what I'm explaining is something that they must listen to when I say there is no such thing as African American culture. They're like, what do you mean? Well, culture for me is not dance, food, clothing. Those are not cultures. Culture is a worldview. The worldview is what drives people. Their relationship to wealth, to money, to community, to marriage, to family. It's the worldview they have. That's the foundation of a culture. And number two, there is no possibility for you to have a culture without having a language. So if you read most of the books written by brilliant African Americans, the first thing you see, the headline is, the traumatic thing about slavery is not merely changing your environment. The traumatic thing about slavery is not merely asking you to work long hours. The Russians had hard labor camps in Siberia. Many countries, Japanese had it, where people work and they die. The traumatic thing about slavery is one thing only, which everyone has written about. They took our language away. They took our culture away. They took our history and religion away. That is a traumatic thing about being a slave. Now, if they took those things away, how and when were they recovered? So I met a gentleman. I was attending a conference in Singapore, and I met this gentleman who was a Korean sociologist. So we started talking during coffee, and I said, oh, I lived in Korea for 2 years when I was reporting. And he said, oh, wow. And then we started talking. I don't remember how the conversation came about when he asked me. He said, so your country was colonized? I said, yes, and my country, his country, Korea, was colonized by the Japanese for 49 years. And he said, what did you guys, meaning referring to people in Benin, what did you lose as a result of colonization? And I froze and I said, whoa, nobody has ever asked me that question. So I said, Prof, you tell me, and that will give me some idea. And he said, no, we're Koreans, we're colonized by the Japanese. So when they left, all we lost was time. We just went back being Koreans. And from that day, I could tell clearly, what did we lose as a result of colonization in Africa? What did you lose as a result of slavery? If you don't fix that which you lost, you're not going to make any way forward. So in Africa, the countries that exist today were never there. They force a group of tribes that have their own distinct cultures to become a country. So they've lost their distinct cultures, trying to have a culture as a collective, which is never going to happen. So for me, first and foremost, when I talk about culture, I'm talking about a worldview, meaning the collective have to have one reason they are here on earth. And that thing is what drives them. It's what makes them wage wars, conquer people, anything. You ask anybody, in 1884, it was the Irish journalist who finally found a word to describe the English man, which he called the manifest destiny. That exceptionalism of the Englishmen, now you call them Americans. The American exceptionalism is the American culture, that they believe that God put them on this earth to colonize and civilize others. And that's what drives them to go out there and try to give freedom and fight for freedom and do all the things they do. Now, good or bad, I'm not giving any value You ask the Japanese, he will tell you their worldview. So their dance and food, and no, those are not. I came from a place where, as a young boy, I was given a worldview, and it guided me everywhere I went. So when you meet me outside my culture, you can tell from my behavior, he must come from a culture that believes in XYZ. So a culture becomes more pronounced when you are outside the group. As an individual, outside your group, people must be able to tell.
Okay. Dave, what is your rebuttal to that?
It's not so much a rebuttal, it's a difference in philosophy, right? It is, and I think we got to thank Frank for even coming here, because I know for some people, this would be very adversarial. Frank and I, we talk all the time. We're very, very good folk. And there's a couple of things that I got to push back on simply because they were not available to us. See, when Frank was born, he inherited a culture. We had to make one with what we had. Some of us, if I were to swab any one of you, you would find some Nigerian, you would find some Ghanaian. Like, we had to hodgepodge, not to mention, out of all of the places that Black people were forced into when we were slaves, 3% came to what we now consider the United States of America. And then we were bred over time. We were buck-broken over time. They would take our women and grape them out of respect for your channel. You know what I'm saying? Drop the G. And then on top of that, they had a split breast system. And the split breast system means that one breast would feed the white children of the slave master, and the other one would feed the Black children that were going to be bought off and sold. We also have a situation where we had to face things that no other Black person on the continent had to face. You know, taking our children and feeding them to alligators, lynching, Jim Crow, all of those things. And when you look at it, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not, the pulse of America runs through foundational Black Americans. Who was the first person to die in the Revolutionary War? Crispus Attucks, Black man, foundational Black American, right? Harriet Tubman made the Underground Railroad and stopped it in Philadelphia. There are all of these things that have happened that make it who we are. Now, as a person who was the first Black youth president of an organization called the National Conference of Christians and Jews, to Frank's point, I do agree, you don't really see your culture until you're out of it. So I'm a raisin and buttermilk in a conversation where there's a bunch of white Christians and a bunch of Jewish people, and they're like, hey, we do this. I'm like, no, Black people don't do that. You know what I'm saying? From the way we walk, the way we talk, the way we eat, the way we move. Not to mention, you can't go anywhere on this earth without seeing our influence. The problem is, unlike any other Black culture on the face of the planet, we have been colonized and monetized for profit by everyone, including the Koreans. K-pop ain't nothing but R&B. Let's call it what it is. And it's R&B under duress, because if you look at what happened with Megan Thee Stallion when she was dealing with those K-pop girls, she was like, oh, it's serious up in here. Because if they miss a step, they get what Joe Jackson gave Mike and them, but worse. There are all of these things that take place that no one wants to talk about. So no, we don't have a language because we weren't allowed to speak our language under penalty of death. When you talk about you can't come to the cookout and things of that nature, people forget. Picnic is an abbreviated slang term, which means you get to picnic to lynch. Postcards came from pictures that they used to take the back of and mail for people who couldn't see the lynching that they had. All of these things we survived. And the funny thing is, everyone's coming over here and benefiting from the fact that we put out the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. All of those things that started as the Black Liberation Movement, but then got shoehorned into civil rights because everybody wants to come off of our pain. It's still a part of who we are. American culture is Black culture. The problem is, not only did we have to create it, but everybody else got to monetize it. We don't own major forms of media. So the message that goes out to the world about foundational Black Americans is very lopsided. It's very negative. Even Frank said to Nancy, he said, well, what is your culture? Twerking? Negating the fact that twerking started in Africa. Mating rituals, things of that nature, tying of the hips, stop me when I go wrong. All of these things get put out as if that's who we are. And it's a very limited, very narrow-minded, very sore and very disingenuous snapshot of who we are, because we get put into killers, baby mamas, this and that and the other. And then when you look at how the media is weaponized, right? They'll take people throughout the diaspora and then put them on platforms and then bring them here. I'll give you an example. There's a show on CBS called Bob Hart's Abishola. And she said things that were much more incendiary than what Frank said. You know, oh, what is it? Gangbangers and baby mamas?
Crazy.
No. That energy is designed to keep us a certain way. And then when you talk about how the entertainment is weaponized, because that's the message, that's our largest export. It always has been. Our talent and our ability to entertain, but not capitalize on said entertainment. You can't point to one major Black-owned record company. You can't point to one major Black-owned media outlet. You can't point to one major media or technological distribution center that is controlled, owned, and managed by foundational Black Americans. And so the message of foundational Black Americans that gets out is not our message, and I completely reject that. If that's what you think the culture is, I am here to tell you that ain't my culture. It ain't never been my culture. It ain't been the culture of most of my brethren. Do we have some knuckleheads? Absolutely. Of course we do. But do we also have things like COINTELPRO we've still had to overcome? Do we have things like the 94 Biden-Clinton crime bill that we've had to overcome? And throughout history, I have yet to see anybody from any of those 54 countries come back for their brothers that they say that they love so much. I don't remember the warships coming to get us. I don't. But what I do see is, oh, well, we're really good at educating. We take the opportunities and we're able to, go and take these American opportunities that you guys squander. Yeah, because you get an immigrant experience. You do not get the foundational Black American experience. You get the same immigrant talk that the Russians get. And the Russians got a lot of nerve because if it wasn't for Alexander Pushkin, they'd still be speaking French. Alexander Pushkin created the Russian language. He was a Black man. So when you talk about where we are and where we've been, you also have to talk about the mind screw, out of respect for your channel, that we have been put under. So no, we don't have an official language because we weren't allowed to have one. But still, if you look at AAVE, it's everywhere. And when it comes out of our mouth, it goes from the hood to the boardrooms to a billboard on Broadway or in Times Square. So we have culture, we have influence, and no, I'm not just talking about taking what's the word I'm looking for? Weeds and turning them into collard greens, or taking innards and turning them into chitterlings. I'm talking about the fact that we have persevered and we are the most copied individuals on the planet. So much so, if I'm wrong, please explain Akon to me. Please explain Burna Boy to me. They all do a variation of who we are. And I'm not just talking about music. I'm talking about the walk. I'm talking about the talk. I'm talking about the hairstyles. I'm talking about the innovation. Everything we do. We took a construction worker's boot and made it the hottest item for the past 40 years. Because everybody finds a way to profit off of what we create and then demonize us for creating it and then label us criminals, uneducated, unwilling. We don't care, but they don't talk about all the systemic things that have been set up and profited by people who want to keep us in a certain box. That doesn't mean we can't escape that box, but to act like we were not put under duress for what we had to put together as a culture when everybody else got to inherit it. And that includes Haitians, Jamaicans. Everybody else got to be left alone so that they could develop. We didn't have that. And to this day, I have yet to meet one African, one Jamaican, one Caribbean, one Black person anywhere who comes into this country and has automatically ingrained in them before they start going, my country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing, that they're afraid when the red and blue lights come on behind them when they're pulled over. And I get it, and I'm the son, brother, and nephew of cops. That's why I say, yes, we have a culture, but of course we don't have a language. But let's not be disingenuous and act like it doesn't matter, because it does. Because as foundational Black American goes, so goes everybody else in society.
So Frank, let me ask you a question. If slavery erased our Black Americans' culture, what do you call what we built after slavery? What do you call that?
Well, you have to give me an example of what you mean by what we build. What are you referring to?
You tied culture back to African and something that you inherit, but you said that got erased during slavery. but we built something. Clearly, Black Americans have built throughout slavery and the culture that we have currently.
What I'm asking is, give me an example so I'll be able to respond to that particular thing.
Well, like things like gospel is something that we built after slavery.
Songs and music,
the foods that we eat, that we consume.
Sure, songs and music exist in every society.
Is that not a part of culture?
No. Let me come to that. And first, let me make a little response to David's assertion that we were not allowed. So, in Benin or Ghana or Nigeria, you pick any of the 54 countries in Africa, right? If you had gone into a Yoruba tribe, which is now part of Nigeria, they would speak Yoruba. Now, when we were put together forcefully as countries, today, my nieces and nephews can't even speak my language properly. And the French and English, they can't even speak it properly. Because in one classroom, you have 36 kids who come from different tribes in that classroom. So they can only use English or French or Spanish or Portuguese to teach this myriad of tribes now who don't speak their language anymore. African Americans were not prevented from speaking their language. When the ship arrived, it was one from this tribe, that tribe, that tribe, that tribe. So automatically, you can speak to each other. And when you don't speak your language for a while, like I've been outside Africa now, going 40 years. If I meet any of my uncles and I start to try to speak my language, I'm interfered by English constantly. And I can't finish it. I can't make a coherent sentence in my own language. Because at school, you could not use that language because you are now a bucket of different languages. The same thing happened here. You were brought as a shipload of different languages. That is why Creole and Patois were created. So you use the only word you can understand, a little bit of the colonizer or whoever is controlling you, and try to speak to someone who comes from Senegal. You don't know what he speaks. So over time, it becomes this hodgepodge of a language called Creole or Patois. In Sierra Leone, they have it. In Liberia, they have it. In Nigeria, they have the pidgin English because they can't speak to each other. So nobody prevented you. All you need is not to use your language because there is no one there to speak to, and the next generation, it's gone. The Jews, however, it was Jews. They took them as Jews. Even though they went from country to country to country, they were lucky enough to keep talking to each other because they can understand each other. So they were able to retain the language. This is my starting point. It happened to us on the continent. So don't be fooled. You hear countries like Nigeria, Ghana. If you ask 5 Ghanaians, one from the Ashanti, one from the Ewe, the Ga, the Akwamu, and the northern region, and ask them, are you Ghanaians? Yes, we are Ghanaians. Look at our passport. Ask them, what is Ghanaian culture? And they'll start looking at each other. There is no such thing. Ask them, what do you speak in Ghana? They'll start looking at each other. Ask them, what is the Ghanaian sense of value? There's no such thing. How do you guys marry in Ghana? There is no such thing. But you say you're Ghanaians. So what happened to us happened here. And when I arrived here, I understood it. When I went to Haiti, I was like, whoa. When I went to Jamaica, the same thing. So when I said, I was only speaking here, so I said African Americans, I would have said the same thing about my own countries in the continent. We have no culture.
Yeah, but from that video, what I got from it is you put Haitians on a pedestal.
I didn't. No, let me correct you.
When in comparison to Black Americans, you said Haitians, they have a culture. Like you said that out your mouth. I said.
So it was a long video about Haiti. And during that conversation, I began to talk about why Haitians can fix Haiti. Because you don't have Haitians. You have just a country forcefully imposed upon you a citizenship, but you are from different places in Africa. But right now, if you go somewhere, you would speak Creole. And somebody would say, oh, that is Haitian. That's what I meant. Not putting them on any pedestal.
So they have a language.
They created one.
So you want to say...
And it's not even useful in any way because it's not an international language.
So they took French and made Creole, right? Is what you're saying.
Spanish, French, and then over 200 African tribal languages into one.
But Americans would say that they took English and made their own language as well.
And what is that?
I mean, it's a broken version of English, but it's still something that we could speak to that's specifically to us.
What language is that?
I mean, it's English.
He's talking about
what that is
Talking about
Ebonics.
AAVE, African American Vernacular English. The same way, for example,
I think I've heard, yes, when I came to this country in 1994, I had a debate on my campus about Ebonics.
right,
Now,
same thing.
Yeah, and somebody corrected me. I think it was my professor said, no, if you say Ebonics, there is no one collective Ebonics.
Correct.
You have to go into pockets. If the person is from the north, the south, the central, they created their own style around it. So I understand that part. That didn't even qualify as a subculture. So let me give you, Jamaicans don't have a culture. When you say the country Jamaica, no, that is not identifiable as a culture. But the Rastafarians have a culture. Now, let me explain what I mean by worldview. The Rastafarians' worldview is that men were put on earth to take care of nature. Okay? That wealth, you have to create more than consume. So they live a frugal life. So politically, they are pacifists. They will never go to war. Socially, they are communal and what we call Epicurean. They believe getting high, eat some food, and have deep conversation is what life is about. And then religiously, they are Rastafarians. Hippies are the Western version of a Rastafarians. They also had a worldview, and that dictated their relationship with wealth. The hippies believe that humans were put on earth to create and consume, and that living in community and being frugal as to wearing the most inexpensive clothing and using things together is what life is all about. So it guided how you see them dress, where they shop from, why they marry, on and on and on. That's what I mean by any society, if you want to understand them, it's the worldview. The Jews believe that they were put on earth as God's chosen people. That through them, that is a worldview. Now, any child told that, forget hurting one of them. Because they are driven by that. That is why they insist on having a community wherever they are. The Chinese, the white community. Do Africans that come from the continent have a community? We don't. Why? Because we don't have a culture. If we had, it would drive us to have a community. In the 50 states of the United States of America, African Americans don't have a community. They have neighborhoods. Now, people who got angry with me didn't even ask me, what does culture do anyway? What is it that if I say you didn't have, that it makes you what? Nobody asked that question. What is that thing you're trying to hold on called culture, by the way? What is it?
You care to elaborate on that then? Now?
Now I'm asking. Once upon a time, John Lennon sang a song. Imagine we don't have religion. Imagine a world without religion, without heaven and hell. He believed in what? The brotherhood of mankind. Sure. So imagine the people without a culture. Maybe they are striving to a brotherhood of mankind. So you take words out of context, and then you crucify a man.
Right.
Not knowing that I am a victim of a cultureless country.
You know, that's sometimes the risk.
I think we get angry too quickly. We're too sensitive. I was giving a talk, live talk the other day, and a gentleman, not the way David is behaving, he wrote the book and he said, my brother Frank, he doesn't know what this means to me. He called me on the phone and spoke with me. And we became friends, like on the phone, and I said, I gotta go. Even if it's 3 hours drive, if I have to fly, I'm going to see this gentleman. Because more than this conversation, there is someone here who really is a thinker. But we got to begin to tame down and accept criticism, because that is the only way societies were built in this world. In my live talk, I told this gentleman when he wouldn't get off my case, and I said, let me tell you something. You don't hate the white man. You don't even fear them. Because if black people hate and fear the white man the way they hate and fear each other, you would all have left this country at the end of slavery.
Left this country and go where?
Go where?
Yeah.
Where did the Jews go to? Do you know how many lands in Africa was offered to African Americans through the Black Star Line project? It was funded by a British through Marcus Garvey and Kwame Nkrumah, the Black Star Line. Did you go? No. How did you get the Amerigo-Liberia culture moved back? 3,400 people only agreed to go to Liberia. What do you mean where to? Plenty of land everywhere. Where did you come back from? How about the Caribbean?
See, that in and of itself.
But I'm not saying it.
No.
I said,
Hold on, Frank.
I'm not accusing
Let me get the
No,
day
no,
real
no,
quick.
no.
Yeah.
No. See, the thing of it is, and you gotta understand, right? Like my favorite verse in the Bible is Proverbs 4:7. It says, "In all thy getting, get an understanding." You gotta understand Frank's perspective. In his mind, it's like, well, shoot, why didn't you go? To me, that's no different than when Kanye sat in front of Harvey Levin and the light skinned boy, never call his name, and said, well, shoot, for 400 years, that's slavery. It sounds like a choice. Like, no, it's not. It's not just that, right? It's bigger than that, because what no one talks about is the psyop that was done to us from 1619 through 1865, and then after 1865 all the way through, right? So if you have been told over and over and over and over and over again that you're less than, that you ain't nothing, that you don't even get the right to call yourself a name, there are certain things that get lost in translation because he does not carry that particular experience. He's got his own experiences, and one of the things that I love, and I encourage absolutely everybody to go to this man's YouTube channel, because when he talks about black on black crime, he does not start and stop the conversation at foundational black Americans. He talks about what's happened in Nigeria. He talks about what's happening in Liberia. He talks about what's happening in Ghana. And that is something that's happened throughout the diaspora. And the one thing we all have in common is that we were colonized and psyoped, but none more brutally than us. So if you think, for example, there have been writings from Frederick Douglass, there were writings from Harriet Tubman, there have been plenty of people who have talked about how many people did not want to leave the plantation because it was all they knew, and they were scared, almost to a point where they had Stockholm syndrome. The idea of going back to a place they'd never been or had any historical reference to, because it had been beaten, threatened, hung, stabbed, lynched out of them. Yeah. No, I ain't going back there. Why would I? Now, me personally, I know plenty of people who have repatriated, right? And I know plenty of people who love it. I know plenty of people who get called all types of akatas and every daggone thing else over there. I also understand that there's a caste system over there. There are people, there have been times when I have been called over there mixed because of the texture of my hair or the fairness of my skin or the narrowness of my nose. Because whether we like to admit it or not, when it comes to a foundational black American line, you can always find, if you go up farther enough, somebody who played Master got loose in the slave quarters, right? Or as they like to say, Black Buck got loose in the big house, but it wasn't us getting loose in the big house. You understand what I'm saying? So there's all these things. And to the John Lennon point, that's ironic, and I will tell you why. John Lennon was a part of the Beatles. The Beatles invasion came about because the Beatles were the very first Backstreet Boys. The Beatles were doing what Ike Turner was doing, what Jimi Hendrix was doing, what Little Richard was doing, what all these foundational black Americans were doing, but because they were palatable. And they told you themselves that they were singing black music no different than Elvis. So yeah, it's real easy to say, imagine when you're a European, rich, white man with an Asian wife who has more money than he knows what to do with, who had the unmitigated gall to say he was bigger than Christ himself and not get canceled. Yeah, you can imagine that because you're imagining it behind a gated community. And the second he stepped out of that gated community, one of his own people got it. But even that is culture. When we were not allowed to marry each other, to the point when you talked about traditions, we jumped the broom as a symbol to each other and everybody on the plantation or the property, because all slaves weren't on plantations, that this person is my person. I jumped the broom. To this day, I jumped the broom with my wife. That's a part of who we are. That is unique to us. No, we don't have a language, and I'm not going to rehash what I've already said, but we have to have a different level of understanding of what has happened, what continues to happen, and how there is a global conspiracy, whether we choose to understand it or not, to keep all of us separate. Having said that, there are things that happen in Haiti because of what Bill Clinton did when he was president and afterwards. There are things that happen in Jamaica that happen because of the British Crown, right? We all have our different cultural battles to fight, but we're all still black. However, me saying that I have to take care of my two daughters does not mean that I don't care about every other black woman on the face of the planet. They are my immediate responsibility as a foundational black American. My immediate responsibility is to foundational black Americans first, not saying foundational Black Americans first and F everybody else. I'm saying foundational Black Americans first because we're the ones that are bleeding and everybody has benefited from our blood, whether they choose to admit it or not. The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment do not happen with us. Civil rights does not happen with us. These very loose, very fun immigration laws that folks are now playing and screwing all of us throughout the diaspora who are here in the Americas does not happen without foundational Black Americans. And so all of those things are extremely important to that conversation.
So what would be your definition? My fault is. What would be your definition of culture? Frank gave his definition of culture. What is your definition of culture?
My definition of culture is traditions, it's style, it's certain taboos, you know, and taboos don't have to be a big, huge thing. Bring raisins in a potato salad to a family reunion. Watch what happens to you, right? Or if we're going to talk about taboos that still happen but are still considered taboo, bring home a white girl. See what happens. You at bare minimum are getting talked about. Not saying that there's not an OJ. Not saying that the majority of professional athletes, entertainers, those types of people who get to a certain level don't still do that. But it's taboo. Curse while the pastor is talking during his sermon. Those are all taboos, right?
REI Co-op presents a perfect outdoor moment with the perfect gift. Picture this. You're ripping with your favorite person. Bluebird skies, blower powder, and frankly, you're skiing like legends.
So sick. Another lap?
Thanks to REI's curation, from lid to sticks, you nailed the gift.
No way. How'd you know?
Does it get more perfect than that? Give without guessing. Shop in store or visit rei.com.
This episode is brought to you by Greenlight. Get this. Adults with financial literacy skills have 82% more wealth than those who don't. From swimming lessons to piano classes, us parents invest in so many things to enrich our kids' lives. But are we investing in their future financial success? With Greenlight, you can teach your kids financial literacy skills like earning, saving, and investing. And this investment costs less than that after-school treat. Start prioritizing their financial education and future today with a risk-free trial at greenlight.com/Spotify. Greenlight.com/Spotify.
Walking on the inside of the street as opposed to the outside of the street, I was raised, but again, my grandfather was born in, I think, 1890, and my grandmother was born in 1904. So my dad was born in 35. So I got a different worldview than a lot of people my age. But there's certain things you don't do. You don't hit a woman. Like, there's certain things that aren't necessarily only unique to us, but there are certain things that over time we have built that make up our culture beyond just language. Spirituality was robbed from us. Language was robbed from us. And yes, even with that, with the example Frank gave, and I'll lay my plane on this. Yeah, when you go to school, they got to teach a certain way. Even when you go, I got a cousin that lives in Osaka, Japan, and she teaches English as a second language to Japanese businessmen because they want to come over here. You understand what I'm saying to you? But you have to have a baseline language. But the difference is you're choosing to go to school versus being forced, whipped, chained, bred like cattle, and had anything cultural taken from you. Even the ability to name your child wasn't up to you. My last name didn't come from the continent. My last name comes from the Anderson slave owners of South Carolina. I know exactly what plantation my ancestors come from. Can't tell you the boat, though.
I want to ask, so where did you get your definition of culture?
Well, my background is mass comm journalism. And if you do advanced mass comm journalism, of course, you're going to do multicultural understanding. And in the study of multicultural differences in understanding, of course, you study how languages were developed, what it meant for people, and so on and so forth. And it's the first thing that allows you to understand how to interact when you move from one place to go to another place. So through that, and then of course, my column for 13 years was life and culture. I didn't report on politics, economics, or wars. I reported on life and culture. It allowed me to study, and I realized, how would I know? I began to compare it, to where I'm coming from. And I said, something went wrong. I would give me just a little bit to explain something. You know where my interest as a black man became piqued after traveling the world when I began to hear the slogans we create, the narratives we create. Okay? I was speaking in Kenya on a university campus. One young man got up and told me how I missed the point about why Kenya is the way it is, and blamed the white man who came to take their culture and stop them from speaking their local languages and gave us Christianity. Oh, he went down the laundry list of things that happened to them, and it's still happening. So I said, wow, you are a brilliant man. I've never met anyone who have made this list, but I have only one question. Why did it work? And that is what we refuse to ask ourselves. So we always say that they did this to us. They did this to us. But we never ask ourselves, why did it work? See, I've been to the Caribbean. I've been to many cities in the United States. I've lived in the UK. I've seen blacks in the UK. I've seen black in China. I've seen blacks in almost every corner of the world. And I've seen blacks in America and on the continent. And everything we are describing is uniform about us. You really think that the largest number of people on earth in terms of countries, 54 in one continent, about 10 or 13 in the Caribbean, black groups in the UK, in China, in America, and we are all suffering that psychological warfare and responding to it for years? Nothing in the world, use any probability, has ever touched a coin and it fell on its head 9 times out of 10. Impossible. We need to re-examine us as black people. What is it? And it's nothing we are saying. Because if it is true, then there's something really wrong first with us. Let me tell you something. Korea, nobody. It's a miracle that Korea is what it is today. It is the only country in the world, or in Asia, let me just be, that has never waged war. They call them Pakachon, inferior, by the Japanese, but Mongolians, Chinese. They were bullied and they were invaded, colonized, tortured for hundreds of years. Why didn't it work on them? The Jews went into slavery, the globe, 4,000 years in the diaspora. In Egypt, in Baghdad, which was formerly Babylon. When they were in Europe, what was the name the Aryan race through the Nazi organization said they were? Jews are inferior. It's what they said over and again to German kids. When they arrived in America, Sammy Davis had a joke. He said he was getting on the bus in Montgomery. The driver told him to get to the back of the bus. He said, no, you don't understand. I'm a Jew. He said, oh, get off the bus then. In 1977, a black man bought a home in Westport, Connecticut, before a Jew. Jews were not allowed to rent or buy a home in Greenwich, in Westport, in Darien. There's a story Donald Trump had to build the first golf course when he became aware that Jews and blacks were not allowed to play in golf courses. Jews had it tough in this country through redlining, where they were not allowed to set up businesses, so they were forced to converge and start loaning to themselves from within. It didn't happen to them 4,000 years, longer than we were in slave or colonization. So the question you need to ask is, if they did all these things against us, why did it work? Let me give you one thing to the response I said earlier, why African Americans didn't leave after slavery. Not because there was no place to go to. That is completely a lie. Ask yourself, the Ashantis knew that they were the most powerful tribe in Ghana, followed by the Airways, the Gans, the Chuis, Akwamus, everybody. They knew that they didn't form the country Ghana, that they were forced, okay? But it came to an end. For Ghana, 1957. Why didn't they go back to become the individual tribes they were? Was anybody there telling them you can't? No. Do you know why they stayed as a country?
Why?
They were attracted by the bling the colonial left behind. The roads, the hospitals, the schools, the post office, the fire the department, the buses with air conditioning from London imported to their country, the railway lines, all the beautiful things. Why didn't you live here? It's not because you don't know where to go. It's because you didn't hate the white man and you weren't afraid of him.
I think you're eliminating the fact that we built blood, sweat, tears, deaths, so much. We are the biggest innovators. We built America. Why give up everything we built? America wouldn't exist off the pains and struggles off of Black Americans. You don't just give that up. we also, if with asking your question, we do also ask, why didn't Africans or other Caribbean people or other nations join us and make us a bigger nation in America? We built it. Everything came off our death. And every time we created something big, it was destroyed, burned down.
Like where?
What are you talking about?
Oh,
Look,
wait. I got this one. Don't worry. Wilmington, North Carolina, Eatonville, Rosewood, Tulsa, Philadelphia, Chester, Pennsylvania, Wilmington, North Carolina,
Black Wall
Beaufort,
Street
South Carolina,
in Jersey.
Yeah, you know, there were plenty of places. Anytime we had any infrastructure, two things happened. They decided to integrate it. Look at have you been to Central Park? You know what Central Park is, right?
It's a park.
No, it's not. Central Park was actually a place called Seneca Village. It was when freed Black people decided to converge in one area, and they decided to redistrict that area, even though they owned the land and the houses that they built free and clear, and they destroyed those people, displaced those people, and built a park around it. There's an old song Joni Mitchell said, "Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone." They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. They paved paradise and put up Seneca Village. In Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, there's a place called Lake Lanier. It used to be a thriving Black town. They decided to kill the Black folks, get rid of the ones they couldn't kill, and then people right now are boating on it every weekend. That's what happened to us. That's what got destroyed. And it doesn't mean that we don't keep building, but after a while, even if you look at the flea experiment, are you familiar with the flea experiment?
The what?
The flea experiment.
No.
So the flea experiment goes like this. You take a bunch of fleas, you put them in a jar, you put the top on the jar, and you put holes in the top of the jar. After a while, the fleas will stop at the top of the jar because they get tired of smacking up against the top of the jar. Now, because you have conditioned the fleas that they're not going to go above the top of the jar, you take the top of the jar off and you never have to worry about them jumping out of the jar because they don't think there's anything above the jar. So if you have been killed, bombed, drowned, thrown out, redistrict, redlined. Yeah, those are historical facts. I got time. We can Google it.
Sure,
but that's that's the part.
I'm no expert.
No.
On all the things he has listed.
I'm just saying we shouldn't just talk about leaving.
I will
and
respond.
we built that.
Yes, I will respond to you. I'm no expert on all the things he has listed. I might have read about them, but you see, every time I read something or I encounter a story, my mind works in that way because I'm an critical thinker. All right. I have also known societies in the world that once upon a time were prevented to do anything. They were prevented to do anything. Like the Jews is an example of it. Indians were an example for 81 years by the British. They couldn't build, innovate, do anything. They have to rely on the white people, right? And you can go down. Koreans the same way. However, I believe in something called the second advantage, meaning when the phenomena is over, you should repeat it. So somebody gave me the first lecture about Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I said, what year was that? Quite a long time ago, right? Okay. At one time in this country, you and we will not have an opportunity to do certain things. But if that ability to build Black Wall Street is innate, why haven't we repeated it?
Because we cannot. And here's
now let's go to your flea experiment.
Sure.
How about the other people who've been held down also by the same condition for long? Why are they not? Here is my problem. I have a lot of mentees. African-American students whom I used to take to Africa. I had a program. Every year, I take a bunch of them to build schools in Benin.
A lot of that money out of his own pocket, by the way.
Yes.
Credit where credit is due.
Now, I really get the goose on my skin when we keep repeating the very thing that is building prisons around us. One is that we've been psyched up, so we can't do anything. Two is somebody is always lurching in the dark. That's why we are the way we are. If you say so, and then you ask a kid to go to school and stay in school and do well, you sound stupid. Why don't you go and kill the white supremacist so the problem will go away from me? There is something that is just human. When you find yourself in a certain situation, you cannot explain it, better create a boogeyman fast. But a boogeyman only turns around and imprisons you and your own children. I refuse. There is no psychological effect on any Black person on earth. We are just what we are, different. And whenever we find ourselves among other people, the first thing we start doing is compare. Let me give you a country, South Africa. 12 tribes. 7 major ones. Shaka the Zulu is from the Zulu land. And then the Xhosas, and then the Vendas and Limpopos, okay? Makes one huge region, 51 million black people. Six-pack and big chest. They'll kill you with their bare hands. 2.8 million white people arrived and built that country to the standard of a European country. 2.8 million. South African white. Then the people started bickering. They said apartheid was the reason the black man was poor in South Africa. So the majority, 51 million black people, were waiting on 2.8, saying that apartheid. You don't know what apartheid is?
Yes.
Apartheid was no economic thing. Apartheid simply is what is happening or happened in America, like in Westport. Look, don't have children with our girls. We want to keep a pure race. Apartheid is what is happening in India. We want to keep Indians marry themselves. Koreans are eugenics. They marry each other. How many Koreans have you seen in America married to celebrities? No. That is apartheid. So if you start marrying them, they'll tell them, clean out. That was it. Now, if blacks believe that they can build South Africa, you know what? Mandela wouldn't waste his time in prison and all these things. He would have simply said, you know what? Let's have a BSA, Black South Africa Republic. Let them cut off white South Africa and let's compete. No, they wasted their time asking the whites, just allow me to come to your beach, to your clinic, to your schools. Okay, 32 years ago, the white man said, just wait and see. We are warning them that managing a country is not something anybody you can just do. So 32 years ago, they gave the country back to the blacks. I was there in 2022 to speak. They are now having load shed. Electricity can't stay on. Water is not flowing. Roads are cracked. Airport is breaking down. The Durban train station is finished when they gave it to blacks.
So you're saying that they're not capable?
No, they're not capable. I don't have to say it. 32 years. It took Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, Malaysia, and Indonesia to build themselves up right after independence. 14 countries in the Balkans. Many people in this country who are below the age of 40 don't understand what Soviet Union means. That was a devil's empire that colonized 14 countries in their grip for 40 years. Name one Eastern European country that is downtrodden because of the Russians.
So do you have the answer to the reason they're not capable?
There is no reason.
So they're just not capable because they're just not capable? There's no reason behind it. There's nothing behind it. There's not a particular mindset.
I'll tell you, because if
said,
you look in the generation of where I come from, my grandfather, great-grandfather, great-great-great-grandfather, none from Africa has ever build and manage a country.
There got to be a reason, though.
No. I'm saying we have never done it. Just
right.
just like no lion has ever dug a foxhole. Right. Only fox can dig a foxhole.
Right.
Only rabbits can dig a rabbit hole.
So
lions can't. So why would you say, is there a reason the lion can dig a foxhole? No, there's no reason. It's a lion.
But those different animals, we talking about humans.
A lack of breadth of experience.
Humans are
that is a
different,
reason.
my friend.
Not having the experience is a reason. And again,
okay, so maybe we have not had the need. You see, we make too big a deal about industrialization. As if industrialization is for people who are smart. No! Industrialization is for people who were threatened by nature. And the continent of Africa, which is the home place of black people, is the most comfortable place that has never had any threat. Tsunamis, earthquakes, tectonic plate shakes, winters 10 feet high, springs. You wake up every day, the trees are green, the tomato is 365 days, it's right behind your house, the river is there, and you just lie out there, eat something, and just chill. So your brain for millions of years is not inventive because
there's no need.
There's no need. So we build little communities. Africans are communal. The black man by nature is not an individualistic actor.
No.
The black man relies. That's why you can't finish a sentence with the black man without him saying, oh, my niece, my cousin. You can talk to a Japanese, a Korean, and a white man for 3 hours, and he's my wife and children. That's all you're going to hear because they come from that kind of thing. All right? So where we come from, where we evolved, gave us something. And that something is what we are. So what the white person did in South Africa is not because he's smart. It's because just over years, millions of years, they've been in threat from nature. So always their brain is inventive. Oh, how can we protect ourselves? We didn't need a reason to let the water be in some, because it's not going to freeze. And we have to come back to that. But we keep preaching that somebody, this wiggly white small race, have held down black men, Shaquille O'Neal size of people. And then our children are hearing it. And you forget to see why our children hate each other because you say we are nothing. So it's easy for the black man to kill the other person. And I'm just saying we need to stop this. Stop it. How can one race on earth have the same experience and it's not going away?
I agree with you, right? To a certain degree,
So to your question, we build it so we won't live it. You're lying to yourself. What did you build in America? Name one thing you built. You were in the 6 states in the South farms because of your ability. They took them to Jamaica because of plantation. They took them to Haiti because of plantation. So when they brought you here, it's because farms. And you keep saying we build. You're making the kids angry. If the man didn't have a home, how could he bring you as a slave? He built the country. He wanted you here to maintain some things, man. So what? You build. So what? You will give your dignity, your children's dignity because we built the country. Therefore, we are going to stay in the country where we will be looked down upon. We will be indignified because I built it. Instead of you going and build. You know what the Jews build in other people's country? But they left it easily to go to a desert. And look at it today. Touch one of them and God bless you.
A desert that was started and state sanctioned in 1946, the year my mother was born. A desert that also came with infrastructure, a desert that also came with banking systems, a desert that also came with absolutely no laws preventing them to build freely.
But
that
I'm
is
saying
no.
Hold on, Frank.
I sat here very quietly,
Okay,
listening.
sorry.
I got 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I was listening twice as much as I normally talk. Jews were allowed to build institutions, hospitals, banks, all of those things over time. And when they left what was happening because of Hitler, they also came with their wealth intact. And they were allowed to commune together and build those things without infrastructure. You know what happened right after emancipation? The federal government created something called the Freedmen's Bank. You familiar with the Freedmen's Bank?
I've heard of it. I'm not familiar
So
with
the Freedmen's Bank was marketed to black people, foundational black Americans, recently freed men. That's why it's called the Freedmen's Bank, as a place for them to take the money they had acquired over time, either from sharecropping, what they had earned from buying their freedom or whatever the case may be. And they all put their money into the Freedmen's Bank. And you know what happened? The government and the robber barons and the people running the Freedmen's Bank took all of their money. Do you know how many black owned and operated banks there are currently in these United States?
No.
22. Most of those are completely underfunded, and they don't have a network that does not get the same support from the FDIC as a Wells Fargo, a Chase Manhattan, all of those things. These things are unique. There is, in fact, and you know this because you have lived. I've lived in 34 cities in 19 states. I've been around. I understand how certain things go. But can you right now, with your wealth and the people that you know, how much land in Chinatown anywhere in the United States can you buy right now?
Which Chinatown? The one here?
Any Chinatown. How much can you buy right now?
Well, I don't know.
0. They won't allow it. How much can you buy in the Diamond District in any place? Let's just start in New York. How much can you buy? How much can you buy?
Know those
0.
Yeah.
Because they're allowed to gatekeep that. Mm-hmm. There is no situation that you can name in America in modern times, taking slavery and everything off the table, just starting from 1865 on, that does not have white involvement and white interference. If you can name it, I will apologize, but it does not exist. And that's what makes us unique versus the Jews who were allowed to take their money. Oh, and by the way, the United States of America, also Germany, all of those countries that were involved in World War II paid and repaired the Jews. Mm-hmm. Japanese Americans who were put in internment camps because America allegedly was afraid of another Pearl Harbor, but we all know historically that was some BS because they knew Pearl Harbor was going to happen before it happened and they allowed it to happen, took the Japanese Americans out of their homes, out of their stores, out of their businesses, out of their communities and put them in internment camps. And when they released them when the war was over, you know what they did? They repaired them financially. They gave them grants, land grants. So it's easy to talk about, well, look at what the Jews did, this, that, and the third. Because the other part of that is you can freely, without fear of recompense, without fear of cancellation, without fear of any type of retaliation, talk extremely critically of foundational Black Americans. I dare you to go do that to Edelstein and the folks over at the National Defamation League and see how quickly Franck Zanu gets canceled. See how quickly your bank accounts get frozen. See how quickly you become public enemy number one. But they will back you and make sure your algorithm goes viral to the point where people wrongly are threatening your life. It's not an apples to apples comparison. We're comparing apples to ancestry and the freedom to make it happen. That's not an excuse. And by the way, I'm not saying a white man is holding me down. I have plenty of businesses. Google is a snitch. It'll tell you all of my business. But the truth of the matter is, am I a dyslexic, dyscalculic kid with a speech impediment that became a speaker and a 22-time best-selling author? Yes, in spite of the fact that my family started in the Richard Allen Projects, in spite of the fact that I have to read a little different, in spite of the fact that I might jumble my words here and there. It's not that it's impossible, but to me to act like that is the rule as opposed to the fact the truth is that I am the exception is not only disingenuous, it's very, very short-sighted.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only point I'm making.
Look, when I use the Jews, I don't talk about something like, the Jews have this money, this person. I don't know. And I don't want to talk about it. And I don't talk about other people because I don't have to. They have done nothing to me. I talk about people like me. So I'm not going to criticize them in the fear of my algorithm. And by the way, I do not like that anybody will say because I'm criticizing my people, so my algorithm is going up. If it is so, fine. All I'm saying is I am talking about us. And I'm saying if all the things you are mentioning happening, wouldn't that be enough reason for you to
You've
say?
been here for 40 years, you said?
34.
Okay, before then, what was your understanding of foundational Black Americans at that point? Have you heard about us even when you were wherever you were from?
Well, you must understand that when we began to know about African Americans, they were called colored people. And then from colored, it became Negro. And then after Negro, it became Afro-American. So we in high school, if you had come to Africa, we call it Afro-American. And then from there it became Black American. And then from there it became African Americans. And now I'm hearing the new terminology, which is foundational Black Americans. I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from. So if I knew about African Americans, yes, my name was Superfly. We all have to choose an African name, African American name, because we watch Cooley High, Brockton and all these things. We knew the names have changed just as the lifestyles have changed also. So yes, of course, we read it in high school. We knew about.
But what was the gist of what? Because my whole point of bringing this up is, the media and the world of the power of America. Let's just like you mentioned those movies. Those movies depicted, Black people in a certain way, but we're ignoring the fact that Black people are foundational Black Americans are being pictured as criminals, your enemy, everything anger, everything evil, everything is boiled in. So when you guys hear that from wherever you're from, you come here and have that same
You know what is funny? I'll tell you this. In Africa, New York has many Africans. Ask any African who is over 50 years old or 60 years old to name one negative thing we heard back in Africa about African Americans. Zero.
So where does that come? Because we had African people on the show say that their parents gave them the talk when they came over here. Stay away from those Black Americans. They're just going to get you pregnant. They drugged it. So where did that white supremacist talking point about Black Americans come from with Africans and even some Caribbeans?
Yeah. So you have social media, right?
Before social media.
No. I'm talking about, listen.
You're talking about today. This has been going on for centuries.
No, you asked me about what we knew about African Americans back in the country. And I am telling you, we never knew one negative thing about African Americans. Never. Now, let me make it clear so you can understand. Start from 1957, when W.E.B. Du Bois moved to Ghana. Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, Maya Angelou moved and lived there for 14 years. Ghana became, or West Africa became the Mecca for African Americans. Not one has any bad message when they come back here. So we were only knowing things and we were copying your style. You made dashiki become even attractive to us to wear it. Platform shoes and all that. We followed today, any barber shop in Africa, you don't see any African. It is all, Ice-T and all these people. Only when we arrived here, then we see it for ourselves, what we see.
So you follow the white supremacist mindset when you guys got here. That's what I'm hearing.
what is that?
Because I mean,
white supremacy
the hatred that's put upon or frowned upon, Black Americans.
By who?
What?
No, by Africans.
Africans.
Oh, okay.
People of Caribbean. My father's Jamaican.
Oh no,
I hear it in that household too, brother.
Yes.
So
I know
there's not coming over here and then saying, embracing, hey, I got a Black brother, I have a Black sister.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, I heard what they said.
Oh yeah.
And I agree with them.
Yes.
Y'all some niggas over there.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
that's the problem.
In one of my episodes, I ended it by saying, I talk about how we started worshiping African Americans when we were in Africa. All my classmates, you are not going to have a name. You pick one of the movie names. I knew about Isaac Hayes, the Black Moses. I met him when I came here. It's like a legend standing in front of me, okay? So we copied African Americans before we came here.
Right.
I ended the episode by saying, when we got here, we stay away from you because we see too much of us in you. So now, here is what I was saying from the beginning. Why don't you ask me why, when you arrive here, you don't unite with us? Then you concluding that you hate us, white supremacy's talking point. Well, our eyes can see things. So ask me, why is it so?
Yeah,
and I will ask you, how many times have you tried to go visit us on the continent?
Oh, well, if my resources was as good as...
you rich than I am.
How?
You're not? Okay.
How?
You're flashy, by the way.
How?
Fine.
What's flashy?
It's the leather pants. Bro.
Oh, it's the leather pants. Okay. At $16.99 H&M. Go get you a pair. You know what I'm saying, my brother? Just because I'm stylish don't mean nothing. You're
stylish. You're stylish. Look, what I'm trying to say is this. I'm not afraid. I ended the episode by saying, I loved African Americans. When I was coming here, I'm telling you the truth. My mom, my dad, my people, nobody told me stay away. Do you know my first wife is an African American? She's now the superintendent of schools here.
So when did that change then?
When we arrived here, we saw too much of us in you and we stayed away.
What do you mean by that?
Huh?
What do you
when
mean
you
by
say
that?
too much of us and you specifically?
The violence, the meanness, Rwanda, Sierra Leone, Liberia, the killing of each other, the dishonesty, the anger. Look, let me tell you, if I go home, this guy you see here, I'll live like Michael Jackson. I have money to live like a king in Africa. Why do you think I'm still here? The snow? Or the taxes? Because I don't want to go back and take what I see here. So don't you say it yourself? Come on. Don't you say it all the time? African Americans are a crap in a bucket. They don't support each other's business. They don't come together to do. So why are you blaming that on me? You've said it yourself. I heard it from you.
Yeah, but
and the same thing you're saying is over there. A Chinese lady just opened a hair shop next to 3 Ghanaians in Accra. It's all on YouTube.
Immigrants
all
come
the blacks,
blessed in America, I'll tell you that.
All the blacks started going to her.
Of course.
So on the continent, the same thing you say here. Oh, you start a business in Nigeria, your own family and friends are going to bring you down. What you're saying here, we are saying it there. When I moved to Kenya, the same thing I keep hearing. So I love to ask why.
I think you're overlooking. A lot of people overlook the success and achievements that y'all so fixated on the negative. Black Americans, we
copied it from you. Your music says it. What is the name of the guy with the glass eye? Something White. He's on
Charleston White.
He says it. Cosby says it. You've written books about it. We hear it from you first. We were focusing on your success when we see you come to Africa. Okay? We never had a problem. Have you heard any African American tell you, I went to and they did this to me? But do you know what we have gone through in the hands of African Americans here in America? How many times a white man has called me a Buddhist scratcher? But I can tell you when I go to high schools to speak, that's what they call me, laughing. So you think it's just you?
But
so I'm asking you.
I hate that analogy
from the other place who is now here observing the two people. Ask me the questions that making conclusions that we are just following white supremacy talking point. No, we're not.
Well, hold on. Let me step in here for a minute. I hear where Frank is coming from, but again, there has to be just a little bit of a shift, right? Because 2 things that are very, very important. My man said he loved Cooley High. Right, he said that we made dashikis and platforms cool, afros and bell bottoms, whole 9, iced tea on the wall, boom, boom, boom. Wonderful. He's right. Cosby did say it. Pull up your pants, all that good stuff. He's absolutely right. Our music says it. He's absolutely right. Our television says it. Am I in the right ballpark? Cool. How much of that did we produce?
Of what?
All of those things, all the media that you're speaking of. Who
media? No, I live in Bridgeport.
No.
It's a first-hand experience for me.
No. I don't want to move the goalposts. I want to talk about exactly what you said when it comes to the music, the books, the TV shows, the movies. Those things are media.
Okay, sure. How many of that?
How much of that did we produce and distribute?
Oh, I don't know who wrote the lyrics for Tupac or who wrote the lyrics for B.I.G.
No.
The producer is saying, bring your product and I will just produce it. You went with Smoke Niggas Like a Cigarette. He produced it. You blaming the medium.
No.
David, let's get real.
Oh, I am getting real. Here's what I know.
So I come to you and I bring my lyric.
Right.
Clive Davis produced, what is her name?
Whitney
right?
Houston.
Okay. Either she sang people's songs, you could say, no, this song, I don't want to sing it because I want to protect the dignity of my people.
Oh,
but you write your lyrics, you take it to the guy, he said, great, your people love this. You said, yes, I produce you.
I wish
would
that
do
was
the
the
same.
truth. But here's a fun fact you don't know about me, Frank. When I was a kid, I used to sing backgrounds for Teddy Pendergrass and people like that. I grew up in the music industry.
Teddy, wow.
Yeah. Gerald Levert.
Wow.
I'm the youngest person to re-record The Twist with Chubby Checker. Like, I've been around the music business for a very formidable part of my life. I also was a radio programmer. I also ran CBS in Austin. I also put Ricky Smiley in the syndication. I worked with Wendy Williams, DJ Clue, so on and so forth. I can tell you from firsthand experience, and I defy anybody who watches this to tell me I'm lying, that we do not get to pick what records make. See, when somebody makes a record, you might not know this because you're not in the industry. When somebody makes a record, they can make a bunch of songs. Marvin Gaye and Berry Gordy, because Berry Gordy was answering to palm-colored people at this particular point in history, had an issue because Marvin Gaye wanted to sing What's Going On and start reaching his people a different way. And what Berry Gordy wanted was, I wasn't bitter, nothing. He wanted the fun stuff. He didn't want anything, too controversial because he didn't think it was going to sell. When you make an album, it's usually anywhere from 30 to 100 songs. Out of that 30 to 100 songs, they pick 12. And when you look at it, the people who are making it's funny you said Clive Davis because Clive Davis is also responsible for B.I.G. because Clive Davis distributed Bad Boy, and then after him, you had Jimmy Iovine distributed Bad Boy and Death Row. At different points in history. The point of it is when the people, the board that are not up.
Kraft mac and cheese is the best thing ever. It's even better than pop music. You look just as natural enjoying us at age 13 as you do 55. Kraft mac and cheese. Best thing ever.
This week on Seen on the Screen, join me, Jacqueline Coley, as I sit down with award-winning costume designer Paul Tazwell, the visionary behind the stunning looks of Wicked and Wicked for Good. We take a closer look at two of the iconic costumes from Glinda and Elphaba, the subtle details you may have missed, and the Broadway shows that inspired Paul's love of costuming. Step behind the scenes of Wicked for Good and tune into Seen on the Screen wherever you listen to podcasts.
Statistically and historically, because I defy you to find a major record company, a major media platform that is owned by us. No. We don't get a say. We can make 1,000,001 songs. I have sat in meetings with people who were signing record deals and they were like, yeah, we like this, but no more of this. You can't talk about this, that, and the third. And if you say no, you know what there is? There is a line of foundational Black Americans who all want to buy their mama a house and the only thing they know how to do is rap. The only thing they know how to do is make beats. Yeah. And so once the product gets in their hands, it's not about what we want. Because if you go back, you were here, 1992. Were you here? Right? No, you weren't
92,
here.
Yes.
92. Do you know what the number one record on the radio in 1992 was?
Oh, geez.
It was. I'll save you the trouble. It's Public Enemy, Fight the Power. And that's when the Rodney King verdict happened. And that's when folks were rioting and they said, never before, never again. And they made a distinct, and when I say they, I'm talking about the major media companies said, we're not going to allow this to happen ever again. So they decide what goes out. They own the radio stations. They own the billboards. They own the distribution channels. They have global distribution that has absolutely nothing to do with I bring my lyrics, because there have been plenty of people who bought lyrics. Okay. Right? Last point, and I'll land my plane. You're familiar with Tyler Perry, are you not? Okay. Do you know what his lowest grossing movie was? It's a movie that shows a responsible foundational Black American man who had 2 daughters, like I got my 2 daughters, and I take care of my 2 daughters. But that is not what sells. How many times have you turned on the news and heard a foundational Black American businessman went home to his wife and 2 daughters today and absolutely nothing bad happened? But you'll hear about all the grapes, and take the G off, you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
You'll hear about all the unalivings. You will hear about all the stabbings. You'll hear about all the drug raids. You'll hear about absolutely everything, because we are the only people who do not own and control our narrative. We get to perform. We do not get to collect. We get to put it out. They get to produce it and decide the message that goes out into the world.
Yeah, business works like that, of course. I remember long back that we were dancing to Nat King Cole, we were dancing to Ella Fitzgerald, we were dancing to Satchmo, we were dancing to, Herbie Hancock and all these Black people.
Yeah.
You understand? And there was no violence and dirty language in it, but it was the same producers. In fact, back then, you can say there was no Bad Boy, there was no Death Row, there was no Young Money. Now you have it, and you're still writing the bad lyrics. This is what I understand about the culture. Cultures have gatekeepers. Did you wear the t-shirt? Did you dance to the song? Did you buy it? Did you allow him to remain in your neighborhood? Well, you promoted it. So don't blame the guy over there. If you're going to sell your dignity, as you said, so your lyrics can sell, well, you choose, because you don't have a culture that has a gatekeeper. But I promise you one thing. The people I have lived among in Asia, they will never let you back again into the community if you're going to sing songs about our women that way or make videos with our women. Didn't you allow it? You did. So I don't like to blame who produced.
So at what point, at one point, by that same logic, if it's just business, slavery was just business, Jim Crow was just business, segregation was just business, poll taxes was just business. All of it is just business. But the truth of the matter is there is irreparable harm, and to act like that irreparable harm does not exist and lay it on the artist and not on the people who go looking for those particular artists. When I was coming up, when I got my deal, right? There was a department. It was called Artist and Repertoire. The average bear calls it A&R. And you had to go out and you would develop talent over time. Now, that's not what happens. They want the most ratchet, the most gutter, the most despicable situation they can possibly have. And when we do own it and we get too old and we're like, you know what, I want to retire, they back up the Brinks truck and they take us out of the game. When you look at what happened when BET got sold by Bob Johnson over to Viacom, which is now Paramount or whatever the heck they are this week, do you know the first things they did? No. The first thing they did was they got rid of the news, because the news was showing us in not only what was happening bad in our communities, but what was happening positively in our communities, highlighting. They got rid of Ed Gordon so fast it made your head swim. And right after that, they kicked Tavis Smiley out. Then they got rid of Teen Summit because you had a bunch of positive kids who were being examples, Black kids being examples of what to be, what you could aspire to. So you take all the hope out of a situation. These are historical facts. This isn't conjecture. If you take all the hope out of a situation and you continue to promote hopelessness, there is a distinct line that starts in the summer of 1992 and continues on, because if it bleeds, it leads. You got a mass comm degree. I got a mass comm degree. Hell, I was a mass comm professor at Temple University. You know as well as I do that sensation always sells, and nothing sells more than anything else. You know what a gaper delay is, right? A gaper delay. So pretend you're in traffic, right? Whether you're on 95, the Tappan Zee Bridge, wherever you are, and there's a delay in traffic and you can't figure out what it is. And so you're driving up and all of a sudden you see that there's somebody with a bad accident. Their arm is off or their head's rolling down and your mouth is agape. People are slowing down because they want to see it. It's a gaper delay. We have been programmed, all Americans, regardless of skin color, to ingest a diet of negativity. But the biggest producers of negativity without any balance, or the biggest group of people that have negativity without any balance by design, are foundational Black Americans. And we're the only culture in America that has that.
I keep saying the same thing. I would ask the same question. You would say, this person did this to me. I would say, why did it work? The propensity must be there before the stimulus was introduced. Now, if you do not, my grandfather told me something. He said, anything that happens to you, forget about the result. It's unpleasant. unfortunate. Do not focus on what happened to me, because everybody knows what happened to you, and you know what happened to you. Ask, why was I susceptible to it? And from that day, nobody can mess with you.
I think it's not that simple. All right.
No, I know it's not that simple.
The traffic light was created by a black man, right? You know what they did? They started making tickets for people at red lights. The light bulb was created by a black man. They started making Con Edison bills. Like everything. The cell phone was created by.
I am saying
what I'm saying. It's
you
not
have
that
to ask
you can't
yourself.
make it that simple. If we created all these things and they add a bill to what we created.
Look, man, I cannot defend what you have just listed. I have no proof of it. I have no name of it. If Black Americans are fewer than Africans, is that not true? Wait, huh?
Certainly.
The population of African Americans in America is like one country in Africa, isn't it?
Certainly.
Okay. So if all these abilities to do all these things, why always the invention is African American and never anything happens where you came from?
We repeat the question because I know
Let me repeat the question so it's clear.
Yeah, sure.
Africa has almost 1.2 billion people, 54 countries.
Yes.
All right. African Americans, 13%, maybe 54 million, right? All right. If these abilities you keep naming, that you can build a country like America, you can invent all the things.
Yeah.
Right.
Why the people from whom you came, why are they not doing it?
Because they don't got the same pedigree as the black people in America are the richest black nation on earth. We're the most successful black nation on earth. We don't have the resource. We can't leverage resources like they do in Africa. I'm
asking about the ability for you to do the things he listed. Why are they not doing them on the continent? If it's
I can't speak of the continent. I can only speak about black Americans in this country. Like this is what we did in this country with less resources, with the less, and we still accomplished more than anybody in the diaspora.
Well, then what is the complaint about the white supremacists?
Here's the complaint about the white supremacy.
And you are the richest nation on earth, and you've done all these things.
Because even with white supremacy, we still accomplish more than anybody in the diaspora.
I understand. Then where is the problem we are here talking about?
Here's the problem. We are the only group in America.
Why are you complaining if you just say now that, no, I
fact.
mean him. You are the richest nation on earth. I agree with you. And we have done all these things and accomplished all these things. Then why are we talking about somebody did something? Life is just going on. You're going to be better more. Talk about what is here so the kids can hear it. Pointing that to them. You are pronouncing and highlighting, you're the one making it that the kids are demoralized by these narratives. And I refuse to participate in that because the day I knew I'm just a different person, I'm an accidental citizen of this earth. I didn't choose my skin color. I didn't choose my tribe. I didn't choose my nation. I didn't choose my race. What is there for me to defend anyway? Knowing that I'm an accidental being here, I get along with anybody. Sure. Based on me. That's it. And I'm tall, handsome, and happy. That's when I respond when people ask me, how are you? What is the headache? What is it?
I think
what is wrong?
I think the issue is the lack of respect that we get from
you feel it.
else.
You said so. When I came to this country, there was one word common among gangbangers. Yo, you disrespected me. What the heck is that? It's an abstract noun. You can't even see it. You hang on to abstract nouns and kill people over it. How do you know you've been disrespected? What does it do to you? Did I pinch you? Did I hit you on the head?
I mean,
what is it? Wait,
but only because you mentioned being called the African booty scratcher affected your mindset.
No, I didn't.
You did.
I didn't end by saying. I said only African Americans did it to me. Did I tell you it affected me? It didn't. I still took kids.
Okay, so
to Africa.
Take you out of it, right? You talking about the millions of Africans is here. It didn't affect them because that's the one thing they always come and say.
I don't know.
It's a through line.
I'm only telling you about what happens. I was in Kenya and this Sudanese girl, I was online and I met her online. So finally we met in person. And she said to me, you know, I knew you're from America, but I knew you were not an African American. That's why I agreed to meet with you. And I said, why would you say that? And she told me her story. She's a refugee in Kenya, tall. And so she got a scholarship to come and play here in Maryland. I don't know which school she went to, a high school. Yeah. She said every day she cried. She can't go to the locker room because of the black players, basketball girls. So one day they played against a white team. One of the white girls saw that she was not in a good mood and asked her, and she told her. Her mother, the white girl's mother, came to the school and made sure that she took this girl out to go to a different school. She said the last 2 years in America, among all white, not that I didn't miss my black people, was the best I ever had. They call me Doc. They call me names. The one Blackson used to joke about. He said all that. He said, I cry every day. Listen, I am not blaming. I'm only telling you, same it is back home.
Mm-hmm.
This is my people I'm among, and I can tell you, I have a credibility. I'm from the continent where my great-grandfathers and mothers were taken from, and I'm among them. So I see more than you see. But you say disrespected us. What disrespect? Why should that matter?
It doesn't matter, but the thing of it is that I need you to understand, if any other group in this country gets disrespected by whatever measurement they feel. For example, Kyrie Irving. You familiar with Kyrie Irving?
Who talk about, he sent a link of a Jews documentary.
Yes, that is correct. On Amazon, last I checked, Jeff Bezos wasn't exactly a foundational Black American. Kyrie Irving did not produce that documentary. No. Kyrie Irving did not star in that documentary.
That's right.
He just said, hey, this looks interesting.
Yeah.
What did the Anti-Defamation League do to Kyrie Irving?
They asked him to go to 5 classes and learn about Jewish sensitivity.
What else?
Pay some fees, become friends with the rabbis, take a lesson, and he was like, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
All because they felt disrespected because he tweeted something. Because there is an infrastructure there in order to punish people that feel that they feel like have disrespected them. And the irony is these are the same folks who will say that we're not like that. We don't run this. We don't punish people. We don't terrorize people. And then they go out of their way to make demands and sanctions on the very people that they say are disrespecting them or anti them by forcing them to do certain things. Therein lies the difference. And so I want to answer the real question you asked, and I'm paraphrasing, so forgive me, but it's like, well, what is the problem when it comes to this? If we can do all of this, then what is the issue? Are you familiar with Eli Whitney?
Give me a look.
Okay. Eli Whitney was a landmass slave owner who said he invented something called the cotton gin. The cotton gin was a machine that cleaned and picked cotton and basically expanded slavery and cotton manufacturing by about 400 to 4,000%, depending on which estimation you have. The thing about that is Eli Whitney was an educated white man. The term cotton gin is pidgin English for cotton engine. Black slaves created it, but a white man monetized it. You can't name one foundational Black American invention that has not been co-opted, cashed in, or monetized by white hands. And that is the unique disparity that nobody wants to talk about. It's not about a white man holding me down, because ain't no white man holding me down. Ain't no white man holding me back. My daughter's sitting right there. She will tell you every dime of her tuition I paid out of state at Howard University, $186,383.63 out of my pocket. So it's not a matter of what we can't do. It's a matter of what happens when we do certain things, and it becomes harder. And historically, we're unique amongst that, even to this day, right? We talk about what Clive Davis did with Whitney Houston, but Whitney Houston was a kid from the projects who smoked cigarettes and had a cocaine habit. Those are facts. That's not disparagement. The other part of that is we never talk about what Clive Davis did to Milli Vanilli, because those were young Black men, but they looked a certain way and they were too pretty. But we have these big old fat Black guys that can really sing. So we're going to have them sing, but we're going to put Milli Vanilli up. And then when it got discovered that the scam was happening, Clive Davis didn't lose a Grammy. Milli Vanilli did. Clive Davis wasn't shunned. Milli Vanilli was. Clive Davis went on and made Bad Boy, made J Records, gave Usher a record deal, built LaFace Records, did everything he wanted to do without any consequence or recompense to what he did to those young boys who were out front through no fault of their own, who were forced into that situation, and the fat Black kids who were in the back singing. When you don't control the media, when you don't control the message, when you don't control the invention, when you don't have the ability to freely monetize the creation, how can you ever dominate?
No, I don't know. I can't answer that question.
I do want to interject because we still got a couple more questions to go to.
Sure.
Jew, I know you had a topic that you wanted to get into.
Okay. So when you hear the word tether, do you feel like, or do you believe that is a word to just, separate non-Black Americans from foundational Black Americans? Or do you believe it's more of on the line of a hateful speech?
No, I don't consider anything as a hateful speech. I don't. I know that people, use words.
Would you consider yourself the same along the lines, Tether?
As a tether?
Yeah.
It's a grammar. I mean, I don't know how people define it.
Well, basically, they say on the lines of non-Black Americans that benefit from Black Americans, but talk down on Black
that's
Americans.
what tether means?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. They must have a reason.
Tether.
They must have a reason to say that.
Yeah, I mean,
I wouldn't be offended by that.
Right. But I'm saying, would you consider yourself that you benefit from the labor of Black Americans being here, the opportunity, and then?
Oh, I don't know.
And you speak down on Black Americans as well as
okay. Let me go to
other
the tether.
people.
Let me go to the tether word.
Yeah.
You see, this is the problem. I'm not speaking down. Stop using the words. We are having a very heated discussion.
Okay.
These are my views, and I'm sharing them about a certain people who are close to me. It's not speaking down. This is where the violence starts. So let me answer to your theta. I came to this country with money. My school fees didn't come from the United States government.
Gotcha.
It was paid through my former employer. So I brought $148,000 to the University of Bridgeport to study. All right? And I have remained in this country. I raised my hand and I swore oath to the white government to say I want to be a naturalized citizen. And he accepted me. I've worked my butt off, incorporate my own non-profit and now my destiny. So I don't know what you mean by benefit. No, I worked myself just like I work in many countries, places where there were no Black people, but I succeeded. I lived in Japan for 4 years. I've lived in China, Malaysia, Indonesia, everywhere. So it's no different from my hard work and my attitude to be in this country. So I don't want anybody to tell me that I came here to benefit from anybody. So if somebody called me a feather, I'll say he must have a good reason to call me that. That shouldn't make an enemy at all for me and another person.
Well, I mean, it's still a benefit to come to the country because you wouldn't have came here if it wasn't a benefit, right?
What benefit?
Well, why did you come here?
I came here to go to school and I stayed. Just like any place else. My freedom to choose any place, including the desert, if I want to.
But you came here because there was more opportunity here.
I came here to go to school. I stayed. I told you. I could go home and live big. But I don't want to deal with the headache of what I'll get at home. So this is the country I choose to live in.
Okay.
So,
go ahead.
There's 2 points I want to make, actually. There is some Black Americans that have come to this country, and like you said, you was already well off financially. You said your employer paid you. You already came over here with over 100 grand. You said, right, to go to school.
Yes, to pay.
So you already was established coming here. There's some Black immigrants that are the same way. They come here established already, and then they come here and then look down upon the Black Americans, just like something we say in Black America. You didn't get it out the mud like how we did. So now some people come over here in the diaspora that are already established, and now they want to say, damn, you know what? You didn't work as hard as me, and they already got a pass. So you get what I'm saying?
They're wrong.
But that's the type of rhetoric. That's when we have the panels. That's the type of rhetoric. Okay, you guys are lazy. You guys are going off of government assistance when you guys came here already established. Some of you guys, I'm not saying all of them.
Okay, let me make it clear. I wasn't already established. Okay, as a reporter,
Coming over here with 100 grand, that's more than most people.
Not my money. Scholarship.
It doesn't matter.
Scholarship given to the United States government because of me doesn't mean my money. So I wasn't established. No. Established, I don't know what it means, but I knew that I was an emotionally stable, well-structured, sophisticated gentleman from Africa. That is all that matters to me. Okay? I'm not interested in the American dream and wealth and house and picket fence and all these flashy cars. Go and see outside what I brought here. 2014 Kia Soul with 188,000 miles on it. I've never bought a brand new car in this country because I don't need it.
Yeah, neither do I.
Okay? Right. So
every Black man don't think you need a Ferrari.
I'm just waiting to die. That's it. And I chose to die in America. What is the point? Like I got something from somebody. If anything, I begged the white man whose country I came to, and he gave me the citizenship. Not a Japanese, not a Chinese, not an African American.
But the reason that
Let's stick to talking about things that would make us understand each other. And maybe I thought we would use this to understand why do people from the Caribbean and Africa come. I have defended, but you see, when I speak about myself, you may think I'm trying to make things up. I used to get very angry when I hear any of the Caribbeans and Africans say things like this about African Americans.
Right.
I have been. There's not a man who will be lying here for that. And I used to say, I give it to the African Americans. They were uprooted, shook so hard there is no soil left for the root to germinate. And yet, look at them here. You come from your own place, and we are all messed up out there. So who should I give the credit to?
¿Hablas español?
Sprichst du Deutsch?
Kann du Norsk?
If you used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world, with lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers. Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Spotify, spelled BABBEL.com/Spotify. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Arizona awakens your senses. Here, a grand wonder of the world is just one shade of your adventure. Dazzling sunsets and iconic stays turn to brilliant nights under a kaleidoscope of stars. Explore endless peaks, rivers, and canyons painted in every hue. Center your spirit. Find your inspiration. Surround yourself in vivid color. Only in vibrant Arizona.
Well, the other point I do want to make, I want to get to you, Dave. You said that you said out your own mouth that you didn't want to go back and deal with what you have to deal with in your country, right? I think that is the difference between Black Americans, because we stood here and fought. We didn't have that luxury to leave our country and go live somewhere else and benefit off the hard work of other people. You said out your own mouth, I don't want to go back home and deal with what my country is dealing with right now. I'd rather stay over here in America. And I think that's the difference between foundational Black Americans and Black immigrants, is that you guys are leaving your situations instead of staying and fighting and making your situation better. That way the citizens don't have to leave and go somewhere else to live a better lifestyle for themselves and their family. You guys chose to go to another country instead of staying and fighting, fixing the corrupt politicians, fixing the economy, fixing the poverty, fixing the crime rate, fixing the educational attainment. You guys chose to leave, especially the brilliant minds. They are leaving their countries to go live elsewhere. That's not something Black Americans have in us. We stood here and fought.
Japan was the number 1 economy for about 20-something years until the bubble bursted in 1989. Japan, the most beautiful place I have seen on Mother Earth. You won't find a poor person. Denmark, Scandinavia, you won't find. But they migrate here a lot. So it's not just because people come here everywhere. Their country is bad. Migration is something in people. There are more people back home in my country than
there's a reason people migrate.
So individuals feel a certain way doesn't mean that it's for everybody. So Japanese are here.
Sure.
They could be in Japan, which is very quiet, polite, organized, no crime. I went to LA for a conference. I went to Little Tokyo. They've boarded up every place. And I know Japanese, like, what is this? But they choose to, I just like this place. Scandinavians are here. They're not from poor place. So I don't think that I'm not in the business of fixing no politician, a corrupt politician in my country. For what? I don't have a country, I told you. It was put together by some foreigner. So you're calling something I don't have my country. No, I don't have that allegiance, really, no.
But I think where the benefit lies is that you were able to come here with...
What is here you're talking about?
America.
Who's America? I didn't think I was going to a Black country. I would have gone to Jamaica.
But the reason...
I came to a white man's country. Okay. When I went to the embassy, I saw the United States of America and read about it.
Wait. But the reason a Black man, yourself, can come here is because of what the FBAs did to make it lawfully possible for you to come here with your $100,000 and go to college. That was not a possibility. That was not a possibility a century ago.
We do not know. There are many countries that don't have slaves. UK is one of them. There are no slaves like African Americans.
So why you ain't go there?
Wait. There are many countries in Europe. They don't have Blacks there.
Right.
But all Africans are there.
Right.
Okay, so who made it possible for Africans to go to those countries?
It's a world of difference, and here's why. And I think
why only when it comes to America you're thinking that you made it possible to come? Saudi Arabia.
Hear me out.
I lived in Japan.
Frank,
I got a resident permit for 4 years. I could have asked for permanent residency. Right? They would have granted it to me. Same as in China. There are today 14,000 something of Africans living in China.
Right.
Okay. What I'm saying is, you go to the 46 countries in Europe. You find almost in every one of them that Africans are there thriving, working, doctors, students, and everything.
Right.
It wasn't no Black person that is there to make it possible for them to come. So we can't say that if you were not here, therefore Blacks wouldn't come to America. So that one is not a good point. But you have a question.
No, it's not. It's not even a question. All right. So the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. The 13th probably really doesn't apply to you too much because you were never enslaved. But that abolished slavery. 14th Amendment, just because I want to make sure I get this right, is birthright citizenship, right? Because we were denied rights after slavery, right? The 15th Amendment is voting rights. The Civil Rights Act that got put into law was because my people, you know, my mother's generation, my father's generation, fought for you to come over here.
No.
No, yeah.
No.
Yes,
They
yes,
fought
yes.
for their freedom. I was never informed, sent any letter in Africa that you should come to America. I'm just telling you, nobody fought for me. You were in a condition you need to fight for your freedom. And so you fought for your freedom.
You benefit from
But
it.
you benefit from that fight.
I've given you an example. There are many places I have lived.
But we're not talking about many places.
Okay?
This is unique
So this
for two
is
reasons.
one of
Frank.
them. What makes you think that if you're not here, therefore America wouldn't allow black people to come here? Why did they allow the
Because
Japanese
we
are
were
not
the
white?
ones who fought to
The
make
South-
no.
The Southeast Asians are not white.
Frank, you gotta let me rock for a minute, right? So here's what I need you to understand. The reason that it went from the Black liberation movement to civil rights was twofold. The first one was they wanted to make sure they could shoehorn everybody else in because when folks come here, they contribute to the economy.
Who?
Okay. When I say
who made that folks should come and contribute to the economy? You mean the white Americans?
the white government.
Okay, sure, yeah.
Right? When that civil rights bill got passed into law, when LBJ signed it into law, right? After that, you got fat white women being stewardesses on Pan Am, right? You got women had rights. You've got gays having rights. You have people being able to come into this country and have the opportunities that were not allowed prior to us bleeding, fighting, and dying for those rights to be put into law. That is uniquely on us that we, whether you realize you benefited from it or not.
What right is that?
The right to come into this country, to come to school in this country, to become a citizen of this country.
I'm just asking for.
Black people fought for civil rights. You are here because of civil rights.
What is civil rights?
That's a great question, and it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
The right to be able to participate in what the Constitution of the United States provides for everybody. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare. I mean, it's a long Constitution, but in it, there's a lot of amendments in the 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Yeah, so the civil rights simply says that people living here, African Americans who were brought here illegally and forcefully, must have the freedom to participate in everything civic.
Not everybody. See, that's the distinction that they don't tell you. It's not just about African Americans. They shoehorned absolutely everybody else
African
into it.
Americans who enacted the civil rights were thinking about other people.
No, we weren't, but that's what the government did with it. That's what I'm trying to
I was
get you
not
to
extended any invitation.
it's not about whether you were extended an invitation or not.
Make it. You are trying to make it more emotional.
If I buy you a ticket to the Yankees game, you didn't buy the ticket, or you didn't ask to go to the Yankees game, but you're sitting in the stands.
It's saying
you still benefit.
You still benefit from it.
I don't believe it, and therefore it means nothing.
Whether you believe it or not, I don't believe that's a camera. It doesn't stop it from recording us.
I've also showed you that there are other countries, 196 countries on the surface of the earth. Out of that, 46 or 48 of them are white countries. You go to any of them, you find us. We didn't wait to see, black people are here waving flags and say, now you can come.
Why the fuck y'all wasn't here when we was out here getting our ass whipped and hung?
Okay, I don't want to talk about the conditions people face and what they fought for. It's one thing, I respect it.
It don't sound like
acknowledge it.
But now you're because you're benefiting from it.
You wouldn't be able to walk these grounds.
The rights you have as a black man, regardless of where you come from in America, you are an American citizen, right?
Yes.
You are a American citizen.
Naturalized American.
You're a naturalized American citizen. 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. Like that, you became a naturalized citizen because that amendment was fought for by us. So you benefit.
The Southeast Asians who are here.
Same. Yes. The South Asians,
then,
Germans.
Everybody.
Yes. Everybody.
Okay. Well, then I don't have anything to say about that.
Because
I'm not a scholar on why white American government decided to allow immigration to build
because it was of a financial benefit. It was of a financial benefit.
They have taken. Of course, that is one of the things America did that is so unique from other countries. They knew the land they have taken and the country they want to build. Of course, every country on the surface of the earth builds into its system a form of immigration. Even the most homogeneous, like Japan, they always know what immigration does to a country. And so if you're going to go on telling everybody who is here it's because of us, then fine, I won't argue at that. You did.
I mean, my
now
whole
that
thing
it says
is
everybody. Then I think
no, but the thing of it is, it's a historical fact that whether you recognize it or not, there is a debt of gratitude to be paid to foundational Black Americans who got their heads cracked in, who got beaten and lynched and had dogs sicked on them.
Still happens to this
and
day.
still happens, where that right would not have been available to you. That privilege would not have been something that you would have been able to have taken advantage of. You would have wound up in Oxford if it wasn't for that. That's a historical fact.
know.
It's not.
I don't know what
and
the
again,
government of America, white government of America, had in mind in terms of immigration.
Right, and
I don't know.
And I think that's why that's important for us to have these conversations,
Yeah.
because it's about learning both ways. There's certain things that
I know Europeans migrated here.
Sure.
I know Arabs migrated here. Migration is migration. So I don't know. So I can't speak about it. But if you want to take the credit, that's good.
But you understand how Black people was treated in this country, right?
Understand?
It's pointless.
You understand,
He's
right?
giving backhanded.
So you understand how they were treated before we fought for civil rights and the right to vote and the right to. You understand how Black people were treated before all these laws is passed.
I do not have to.
If you
Once
migrated
tell me that
before
somebody is in slavery, well, that alone explains itself.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you migrated here
But
before that,
you're jumping to say because of that, as if other countries don't give immigration, and you haven't proven that other countries don't. If this is solely exclusive to the United States, then I will say you're right. But it's not exclusive to the United States.
no one said immigration.
Because everybody knows
that's a bit of a
countries
straw
believe in
man.
Immigration.
That's a bit of a
They
straw man.
encourage
Frank.
it.
That's a bit of a straw man.
Because
Frank.
they know that there are many talent and skills. They have to import it, even if it means by force. They bribe. Japanese did it.
but how you think you would have been imported in this country had we not fought for these rights?
What right? Tell me the right.
The right for naturalized citizenship, the right for civil rights. Whether you
Tell
came,
me the
so
right.
so say for example you came. Let's pretend that we're on Earth 2, and let's pretend that Earth 2 is an alternate universe, just like us, except for one particular change. And that one particular change is segregation is still in place. White supremacy is the law of the land. If it's white, you're right. If you're Black, get back, regardless of where you come from. Now let's say that you did apply and you became a citizen. You would automatically be a secondhand citizen, and they would say, "Get your Black ass to the back of the bus. You can't do this, you can't do that." Do you know that when you became a lawyer in this country, up until Black people started becoming lawyers, there was no such thing as a bar exam? They created bar exams to bar us from becoming attorneys.
Yeah,
When we got the right to vote, they started creating things called grandfather clauses and poll taxes in order to keep us from exercising those rights. You understand that to be a fact, correct?
I don't know.
Okay, but trust me, the comment section will tell you that that's a fact.
Okay.
Civil rights, which started off as the Black Liberation Movement, and then COINTELPRO did its thing and gave us civil
Okay,
rights.
so back to you. Name the right I'm enjoying. now.
Hold
Like
on,
you say.
I was
name it.
I was in the middle of telling you the rights you're enjoying.
Okay.
Civil rights gave you the opportunity to be here, take that $148,000 scholarship, and sit in a classroom amongst all Americans
I have heard
and
it,
make
but what I'm
that
saying is
happen.
You have to show me where that does not happen. If it is exclusive to the United States, please.
No, that is not
if it is
exclusive to the United
exclusive
States. You're
States,
straw
because
manning
I
the
lived
argument.
in many places before I
Were
arrived.
Black people getting burnt and brutally killed
Yes,
over those places? No. Were they Black people shipped over there, burnt, killed, destroyed, and abolished every opportunity they had? Was that happening in those other places first?
You talking about these other places?
Yeah.
The American experience is unique.
Yeah.
You can't compare to these other places.
Okay, there is something you're missing.
I think you're
Do you understand?
Hold on, let him.
When you take somebody as a slave, as it happened in Northern Europe, the whole of Northern Europe slaves, right?
Absolutely.
As it happened in Africa between tribes, as it happened in Asia with the Mongols, as it happened in the Middle East with the Ottoman Empire, slaves have been taken. The condition is never something anybody is ever comfortable with. So what you're describing, my head was busted. Yes, you are in a slave condition. They took you and they said, you're going to be my slave. Let's not begin to say what they did to me. But you're trying to make an argument that, oh, when slavery was over and I fought for civil rights, it's why you came here. I would buy that argument. I'll bow to you if you told me that was exclusive to the United States, because other countries do not allow black people to go to anywhere, which is not in the case. Now tell me what I'm benefiting.
Again.
No, he said it. Please, go ahead.
I'm telling you.
No. Name it at items, please. Just name the item.
That you're benefiting from.
Yes.
The reason that you were able to...
No, what is the item? It's a business relationship I have with the United States of America. I brought money, I pay taxes on my money.
The reason you were able to do that is because of...
I'm asking you, give me the benefits.
I can't.
Exactly.
Okay.
I can't.
So let me... Frank, here's what I need you to understand, right? Immigration is not something that is unique to America. No one ever said it was. That's the straw man argument. That's not what I'm on. Here's what I am on. Are you familiar with the Nuremberg laws?
What?
The Nuremberg laws.
Yeah, in Germany?
Yes, in Germany.
Okay.
Do you know where those came from?
No, I don't.
No. See, Hitler went on record.
No, let's talk about
No. I'm making
and
you got
black Americans. I just want to clear that. You give me too many history lessons.
No.
I can't verify.
Because you don't know
I'm
the
not going
history.
to follow you because you're not a history expert
No.
me. Don't give me histories that as if you're teaching a high school kid. Just ask
I'm not
me the
trying
question.
to teach a high school kid.
You gave me a list of questions and you said we're going to have these discussions. But to go to Nazi, I wasn't born. I wasn't there.
You're missing. I'm trying.
The Nuremberg trial. I am asking you to tell me. I'm working in this country.
But look,
what is that one right that you can think I'm enjoying?
Okay.
You have the right to be a citizen here, which you would have not
that is
been.
For the Americans, they wanted it and they gave it to
Frank. We're gonna let him. We're gonna let him talk. We let you talk. Let him have his moment.
You have the right to sit down in a classroom and pay for tuition that you would not have been able to do in any place in the United States, with very few exceptions, if it were not for civil rights. That is an irrefutable fact. And the reason I was bringing up the Nuremberg laws is because Jim Crow in and of itself was so bad that Hitler modeled the Nuremberg laws off of Jim Crow. And I'm not trying to give you a history lesson, but there's a lot of history that comes with foundational Black Americans that you do not know that would change your perspective. We came here for this conversation, not so much to try and convince you or you to try and convince me, but to have a exchange of ideas so that you can understand our perspective and we can understand yours. When we had our initial phone conversation, we talked about the importance of people understanding that you are not coming from a place where you're trying to demean people and people are threatening your life and, your team is like, should we call the FBI? And you're like, nah, but this is insane. To the point where when we were talking, you said, well, this group, Foundational Black Americans. I said, no, Frank, it's not a group. It's a lineage. That's what it means. What I'm saying.
Please ask me the questions. I don't like the too long because the things you're saying, I can't verify them. I wasn't there. So when you say something like that, you're forcing me to say, should I concord and say it's true?
No, I'm not trying to get you to agree. I'm trying to give you things that you can look up later on for your own benefit, so that you can get a better understanding. This is not about
trying what is the question now?
Okay, so let me go back to because I asked you and Dave, I want to switch to you because Frank said he's not offended by the word tether.
Sure.
Right? But when you hear the word akata, and there's a countless amount of words, do you believe those words are to embrace Foundation Black Americans or to do the
like
polar
a derogatory
opposite?
term?
No, but the thing that I think is extremely important is twofold. The first is when you use a term like akata, that comes from institutionalized hate and divisive language that has been spread through media and narrative that puts us in a certain light, right? That we're lazy. We don't care about
like the N-word.
Exactly. It's a nice little code word. For example, I know people that would call us schwatches. I've known Italians that would call us spictic mulignans. There's a bunch of terms that come up, right? The thing that people don't understand when it comes to the tether word is it's not every single person who is Black who decides to become a naturalized citizen and take the oath. That is extreme ignorance. A tether is somebody that goes out of their way to disparage, disrespect, and not understand the the heritage, the sacrifice, and the contributions of foundational Black Americans to the fact that they are here. You are tethering yourself because the average person, we had this conversation the last time I was here, the average person can't tell an African from a Jamaican, from a Ghanaian, from a foundational because they don't have a basis. It's just like many Black folks don't know the difference between a Japanese, a Chinese, a Vietnamese, or a Korean. They don't know. They just put us all in one boat. So when you come here, they're just like, you're Black. But our unique distinction is we did fight for the right for Franck to be able to come over here and sit in the classroom, to be a citizen with all of the rights that are imbued in us, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness by the U.S. Constitution. We fought for that uniquely, and that part is unique. Immigration is not unique. Having people come and become naturalized citizens is not unique. But Black people and other people, other marginalized groups who are not white Anglo-Saxon Protestants being able to take advantage of the same freedoms, the same benefits, the same laws that are inalienable God-given rights according to manifest destiny in the U.S. Constitution is uniquely because of what we fought for. Therein lies the difference.
Do you agree with the term Akata being used in a way to disrespect or harm in a harmful way?
Oh, no. You know, so many things happen with that word, okay? Even some of us, if you use the same word in a Ghanaian, one of the Ghanaian languages, or one of the Nigerian languages, on and on and on. It was a movie with Wesley Snipes, I believe, that poisoned that word. Because when he said something in Yoruba language and the guy asked him, what did he mean? He translated to him and said,
a cotton picker.
Yeah. And then Wesley Snipes swung at him in that movie. I hated the whole thing.
Okay.
But if you go to any of the West African countries, especially Ghana, in the Ewe language of Ghana, your name is Amayibo Yovo, the black white man.
The black white man?
Yes.
Why is that?
That's the name in the airways. That's what they called African Americans.
And is that
what do y'all call the Caribbeans? And why do we have a specific term? What are the Caribbeans called?
You must understand that United States and Sub-Saharan Africa, things that happen, and the people who came and went, Maya Angelou, you know, the 60s movement was never between Caribbeans and what is it called? Africa. It was between American blacks and Africa. So we came to see more of you. Now, the word gaijin. Does anybody here know the word gaijin?
No.
So gaijin is Japanese word for foreigner. Gaijin. Gaijin is the Japanese word for foreigner. Do you know when you are a foreigner to Japanese?
I prefer to be called a foreigner than
a
black
you know
white man.
When or where they will refer to you as a foreigner.
When you're not born there?
No, what I mean is when a Japanese, anyway, when the Japanese definition of the word foreigner is not when you visit his country.
What is it?
If 4 Japanese come to the United States, they refer to everybody here as gaijin, the foreigners. Because gaijin means those who are not like us.
Okay.
So it's not only when you go to their country. When they are in your country, all of you are gaijin.
Okay.
So you're asking me, why do they call you, the black man white? Well, in Africa, we don't say that skin color is what identifies you with an ethnicity or a tribe or this. We don't. It's more of traits, personality, character. Yes. So if you have lived among the whites and you are from a Western country, yes, you wear the same skin color, but we know that if we interact, we have to learn how do we interact with this person. Okay, you wouldn't go to Ghana and feel comfortable sitting on somebody's lap because the public transport is full and sit on his lap. I don't have any problem with that because we don't have spatial communication. Only Westerners have spatial communication, which means that you don't get to yo. You know, when we were in high school, we hold each other's hands, boys. Here
in high school,
for what? Like walking home.
Okay.
You see what is going through your mind now?
He
It's like pause.
I remember my best friend always we're holding hands. We put hands on each other's shoulder and walk home. Holding hands.
I mean, but why hold hands though? Then?
You see, you're asking why about some people's culture.
Well, yeah, it's a cultural difference. I'm just asking.
Why are you asking why?
I'm asking what's the reason? Like, is there
what
a reason?
Reason?
There's no reason. I just
no,
hold hands.
Expressing love. That's how they.
I'm just trying to show you that the reason we see you as an American is because I can describe it. You couldn't deal with it.
But you can say Black American, not Black white American. Is the disconnect?
But my friend, I am. You see, here is the problem.
It's a huge disconnect. I am a Black American. I'm not a Black white American. I don't care.
It's a huge disconnect. You are using the word. You are disconnected already.
No, you're
when you visit my country, I have to help you understand many things and how to do it. So where is the disconnect? It's there already.
The disconnect is just how you said. You said the Japanese, they have that term, and everybody falls under that foreigner term. It's not. They don't look at Russians and be like, only them are foreigners. The thing is, you're trying, not you, but the culture or the tribe is saying that they have a specific, unique name for one set of people in the diaspora that they don't have for anybody else. Like I asked you, what do they call the Caribbeans? Are the
Caribbeans are not living in the white man's country?
So what do they call them?
Huh?
Do they have a name? Are they what are they named?
So this is the confusion, right? Until they say I'm Jamaican. As long as they speak with a different accent in English, we simply would say the same thing until they say, no, I'm from Jamaica. We didn't know about Jamaica and all these things, you must understand. We didn't.
You're still not answering the question, though.
Yes, we did not know about the Caribbean.
Oh, okay.
Our high school books didn't teach us about Caribbean. Wouldn't you understand? We thought the people they took from the continent, the first place we all know they went to, that is why most of you came. W.E.B. was died in Ghana. They didn't go to the Caribbean. They all came to. So we had this connection to learn about this group of people. But we know also that when they come to Africa, that the way they carry themselves, what they do, different from us. So they are Amaibo, Yovo, Black man, white.
I get that.
Not an insult. No.
Okay.
It is.
But when
it's not what he's trying to say.
It's not.
He's not trying to make it an insult, Jew.
Yeah, he's not. I'm just saying
it's not an insult.
It's not an insult because
I can say it until the cows come. You don't understand. I told you from the beginning. If you come to Ghana right now, my Ghanaian family and friends and neighborhoods will drop everything to protect you more than they will protect a citizen. I've seen it.
Okay.
But you don't appreciate it. And this is the problem that is causing the disconnect you have to. No, you don't.
What you mean you don't appreciate it?
You don't, because Maya Angelou lived in Ghana for 14 years.
Okay.
What did she write about Ghana? Have you read it?
No.
Exactly. But he can quote me all the way to Nazi. Why didn't you read what she said about living in Ghana for 14 years?
So that means
how about W.E.B. Du Bois, who moved to Ghana and died in Ghana? What he wrote about Ghana, did you read it? No, you didn't. How about the myriads of other academics who moved out of this country to Ghana because Ghana was the black star? Nkrumah was the first person to get independence, so everybody thought, whoa, whoa, whoa. So it became a place when Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X met in the elevator and refused to shake hands, which is what hurt Muhammad Ali until he died in Ghana. So you didn't read anybody who went to Ghana or West Africa what they said about that place. So you wouldn't have a reason, and you are right, to even understand how the people in Sub-Saharan Africa wanted so much. And then we arrive here. And then we have these kind of feelings, so we don't.
Okay, so what I would say is, because I'm a man and a man of honor and respect, I apologize if I was taken.
You're a good man.
You're
a good man.
But in the same way, I want you to understand, I'll even go to the minuscule thing of African booty scratch, whatever the case. How young black kids connect. You guys hold hands, right? Till teenagers, you could be 30 years old holding a man's hand, and that's how you bond, right? But how me and these young black brothers, we crack on each other.
Yeah.
You can have a fucking.
That's
you
our
can
culture.
You can have $1 million, and I'm gonna find a way to make somebody laugh at you. You fucking rich motherfucker, get out of my face. That's what black men do.
It's an African thing.
No, but look, I'm telling you, we cannot distinguish and understand from your culture
I apologize.
Oh no.
What
You're good. You're good.
We have different ways.
I'm glad you brought it up because it allows us to know.
When we speak to African brothers and we're cracking jokes at them, they have that disdain for us, but that's how we bond.
Yeah, so what he's saying is, in essence, the term African booty scratcher is just like any other thing. Like when I was a kid, you know, I got called chubby, I got called big head, I got called egghead, all that stuff. I got called Sinbad and Arsenio because I had a high butt. Like that's just part of who we are, because that's not something. What's the word I'm looking for? That's something that's not uniquely ingrained in your culture. It can be a core memory insult to you,
a sign of disrespect,
or a sign of disrespect when it's actually a term of endearment. It means that you part of the crew.
Good try,
because
good try, but no. The year of return started in 2019 in Ghana.
Yes.
Do you know how many people have gone to Ghana? A lot, including Umar Johnson got a citizenship.
Yep.
Did anybody in Ghana, Nigeria, Benin, Togo called y'all by any name as an endearment? You don't call somebody with a name that is among you and you know he doesn't understand. So I understand you've done a good job and I love it.
But you said they call us, what's the word you said for the white black man?
Didn't I tell you it's a cultural, we understand you.
But this is what we're trying to
it's a cultural thing.
Like,
You are considering just because we said white, meaning that anyone who was not born, raised in Africa is from a Western country. And we refer to all Western as Yovo.
Right. And there's no offense meant.
But that's a part of your culture, right?
What you
mean no? That's specific to you and your culture. That's what you call people that's not from Western black people, right?
It's a cultural thing. I'm just trying to tell you, for people to understand the distinction and treat this person differently because he's not from here. He's a black Westerner.
Right.
But Western is usually when you use it, you're talking about European countries.
Right.
So that's it. It allows us to know that this person can do no wrong because he's not from here.
Okay.
Got you.
Look, you want to really understand, then you got to refuse to have these conclusions and all that. Steve Harvey went to Ghana. He come back with a big pants on. Did he do a segment to just enlighten anybody here? No, he didn't. And I can go down the list of those of them who've gone there, shook hands with president, and then come back here and don't say anything.
Correct.
Why don't they build a bridge? Why don't they build a disconnect and say, guys, look at the way I was treated, man. I just came here. Look at the way I was treated. Umar Johnson, with his head smaller at the top and big at the bottom, went to Ghana, got a citizenship, and grabbed the microphone asking for, where are my wives at? Where are my wives at? Is that a respectful thing to do in a country that gave you citizenship? We didn't say anything wrong against him.
Absolutely.
He's walking around making money, calling himself Prince of Pan-Africanism. Do you know where Pan-Africanism is? It's in Africa. He hijacked it. Have you heard any African tell him?
He's talking about Dr. Umar.
Stop it. No. But if I say one thing about African Americans, you are looking down upon us. You are doing this upon us. Let's stop it. Especially for people like us who are more sophisticated.
Oh, trust me.
I came here because he made an impression on me.
Right.
He sent me the question. He said, brother, I'm not going to ambush you. Now, that is unique. This conversation, I wouldn't come from my state, drive here, sit with brothers. I'm coming to look down upon you.
Not at all.
What kind of culture is that you're thinking about me? So I shouldn't criticize. Why? Europe was built faster than any culture. You know why?
What?
It's the only place also you have just countless number of philosophers. None of their books was ever pleasing. You're too sensitive to criticism.
There's some truth in that.
Let's open the door a little bit.
Absolutely.
Look, in private, we still talk about you guys. I have been in it. The day you're going to visit Bridgeport, I'm a commissioner. Did you look it up? Fair Rent and Fair Housing Commission. Last month alone, 3 people are prevented from eviction. Who are they? They're not Chinese or Koreans, African Americans. The whole city council is African Americans. My students are all African Americans. There's a guy who looks down upon you.
But what not?
This is the thing your sensitivity is not only towards white people, it's always towards us because you misunderstand. I wish you call us African so you can understand. We call you Black Westerner so we can understand you. Anyway, it's all good.
I think we just need to take time to understand the same way how we just tried to explain to you about the African booty scratcher. I understand that you
No endearment.
Right.
No. The kids wanted someone.
But listen,
they also can laugh at. Look,
listen,
the earth is building.
Listen, as
see, but that's how you're taking it. I am telling you, as a kid that used to get picked on all the time, the dozens is a huge part of foundational Black American culture. Some people call it snapping. Some people call it busting on each other. It's what we do. D.L. Hughley, when he was hosting Comic View, would find people in the audience and be like, "Hey, man, listen, stop that right there. Your neck is too small." Like it's a
because
part of
I
who
went to
we
the
are.
space. It's a comic space, so I would take it as a comic. But if I'm brought to come and speak in a school and kids are laughing and throwing things at you and say, what they have heard,
why do you think
hanging on a tree?
Why do you think it got to that point?
It
started from somewhere.
It started in the schoolyard and then evolved into the comedy club.
So, to your word, I've seen it in my comment section. No, it doesn't at all. I have trained myself.
Yeah.
It's a word a person used.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
What is there to hurt me about this word?
Mm.
And even with the way you've explained it, as long as I know that is never part of who I am, then the person is free to use that word and it will never. And I don't take people off my comment section. I don't. No. If you're going to go out there to speak on a public platform,
you better be
ready
prepared.
that you're going to have people that, okay? And so both those who call me names and those, they are all the same to me. They are all the same.
Right.
I don't differentiate at all among them.
Right.
I do want Ace to ask his last question before we get up out of here because I feel like we can have this conversation for all day, like for sure. Like,
by the way, how many hours?
We had about 2.5.
For real?
Yeah.
I mean, the conversation is flowing.
Yeah, it's good. Go ahead.
My last question: is unity across the African diaspora possible, or are the differences in history, culture, and class too deep for a Black agenda?
If what?
Is
unity across the African diaspora possible?
Africa, right?
Yes.
Across
Of the
the diaspora, meaning African Americans, Caribbeans.
Oh, hell no. Never. What is unity? Describe the unity. Show me a picture of what you mean by unity.
Coming together.
Like, no, coming to a conference.
The European Union is together.
No, as countries.
Yes.
Countries that are autonomous, and because they know that trade and economy would work. Because they have something. First, you have to have something to trade for that unity you are asking for. We don't have. So what is the unity? Unity based on what?
Why do we need to have something to trade for?
Then what are you going to unite with?
Because we're Black and we're Black everywhere.
Every other culture has unity.
Show me one culture that has unity, but they have nothing to trade among themselves. No, take a continent, because you're talking about a continent.
Oh, a continent.
Asia. Yeah, what is the unity? Japan invaded China.
Yes.
Colonized Korea. Tortured the Philippines. Almost went to, okay? So he's hated by many of them. But do you know where Nissan's biggest manufacturing is? It's in China. Toyota, okay? They have the best of relationship right now. So show me a continent where people are united only on Kumbaya.
So nobody's saying kumbaya, but what?
Okay, what is it?
Here's the thing, Frank. There is a reason, and if I'm wrong, I apologize in advance.
No.
But there is a reason that you became an educator. There is a reason that you took little boys, not unlike me, over to Africa. There is a reason that you prevent people who look like me and who come from my particular lineage from getting thrown out in the streets. And I'm willing to say that reason is because you care, because whether you understand it or not, and I think that you do, I can't speak for you, but I'll allow you to tell me if I'm wrong, because you still see me as a brother. You still see me as a Black man that you care about, because you understand that there is a bigger picture. We're still connected to the motherland. We still have a same ancestral home, do we not?
I don't know. If you're talking
if we're what I'm saying
if
is,
you are talking about the continent, yes, you are from the continent. But when the continent is only known, let me tell you, if I get to the airport in Benin Republic and I bring my passport out, they see my last name. They know exactly where I come from. If the officer there is not from my place, I'm in trouble. He'll treat me like a piece of crap.
Right.
And you think that's right?
Happens in Jamaica too.
Yeah?
And you think that's right?
No, he don't think that's right.
It's not a question of right or wrong. I know why he's doing it.
Why?
Because he's in a country that was put together by force. He has nothing in common with me except skin color.
Mm-hmm. So that gives him the right to treat you like that?
Yeah.
It's
There's
not a
no
matter of
right
giving them the
thing
right.
about
It's more about that's what they're going to do.
Mistake was for us to accept the country
Mm-hmm.
and think we can run it when we have nothing in common.
Mm-hmm.
So one country has nothing in common. Now let's talk about the unity.
Right.
What is the youngest country in the world today?
The youngest.
So only about 14 years old. South Sudan.
South Sudan, yeah.
Okay. South Sudan and Sudan, one country.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Black people of the same lineage and same skin color. But they couldn't like each other. Danny Glover and George Clooney and some celebrities made it possible. They said, yeah, we want to cut off. And they cut off. As we speak, in Nigeria, Mr. Nnamdi Kalu is asking for the Igbos to cut away from Nigeria. There's another Yoruba man who is asking for the Yorubas to cut off. In Cameroon, as I speak, the Com tribe of Cameroon, under the French section, is asking for them to secede. This is going on in the continent. You're asking for unity?
So you're saying because the continent of Africa is not unified, then we can't have a global unification of the black diaspora?
But what are you unified around?
That's something we could build. What is the purpose of Pan-Africanism if you're saying that unity isn't possible?
Well, you said it as if I believe in Pan-Africanism. It's the most stupid, bogus thing ever for anybody to even say.
But you spoke about worldview earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if our worldview was to uplift each other?
Whose worldview?
Black people.
Which black people?
All black people.
No, there is no such thing. You can't go to Asia and say all Asian people.
But why not?
I am telling you, this is the mistake.
Mm-hmm.
We are the only ones who walk the earth, and as soon as you see a black person at the airport, oh, brother. No, I'm not your brother.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Have you gone to Europe and you had an Italian man calling a German brother?
Fuck them. What's wrong with me seeing you at the airport?
This is the problem.
You gonna have to explain it to me then.
Okay.
I don't get it.
Let me ask you.
Mm.
Let me tell you something. The story of Chaka the Zulu.
Mm-hmm. Chaka Zulu.
What was he famous for before they killed him? Tormenting fellow black tribes in that region.
Okay.
So that's the man you're going to unite with?
No.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm just telling you. We think that skin color makes you and me the same. We're not.
Mm-hmm.
I am from a small tribe called the Ajat tribe in Benin.
Mm-hmm.
Benin is only 6.5 million people with over 40 tribes. When I say tribe, I mean the language is like French and Chinese.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything in common with the 49 other people in my country. Nothing in common.
Mm-hmm.
They speak a different language. They have a different God, a different religion, different food, different forms of wear and culture, traditions, and customs. We were forced, carved and say, remain here.
Mm-hmm.
He's not my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're asking for a global brotherhood of all black people. Why would the black people be different from any continent? Europe is a global community of white people, but they don't go around saying brother and sister. Asia is a community of all yellow Asians in Asia. They don't go around calling each other brother and sister. Same with the Middle East, same with everywhere. Where only when it comes to black people you think we are all the same. We're not the same.
Oh, okay. And look, hold on. Yeah. Really quickly, this is why FBA was announced. Because once you guys acknowledge us as colored people, right? And then it went from that to African Americans. We embrace our brothers and sisters that was on the other side, right? And getting shitted on, and people with selfish mindsets, not thinking like how we're thinking, like let's connect, let's adapt to each other. When you get frowned upon, now this is why Black Americans, Foundation Black Americans, say, okay, I don't want to be a part of what African American stands for because I'm not African American. They clearly
okay.
Then that's where the conversation comes in.
Right
okay,
there.
but look, but then you go with, so what is this Foundation American? You guys was African American. Well, it's like, why would I want to be African American if I know that you guys?
Who is you guys African American?
Well, the people that look at African Americans as if you're not African American unless you know what tribe you're from, what else, unless you didn't read
I'm
the
not
book
African
about.
American.
No.
No. But what he's trying to, I got you. Okay. So you have to remember, when it comes to their show, they have a lot of people throughout the diaspora, a lot of women who come up here, and they will say things like, "Well, you guys don't know who you are. You guys don't understand where you are. You guys don't understand your culture because you don't even have a language. You can't tell me where you're from." And they're like, "Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. I'm from Philly." No. You from Africa, but you don't know what tribe. You don't know this, that, and the third. So you're not really African American. Y'all are lost. Y'all are lost people. Like. That is you could just taking their show as a case study, you could pick any random episode and find somebody saying something along those lines.
Yes.
None of that does anything
I see.
for things.
Let me explain something. So the term African American is correct. It's Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Cubans, Afro-Americans. The Afro, you can make it African. I am not African American. Because I'm from Benin.
Right.
So I'm a Beninois American. Obama is Kenyan American.
Right.
You are African Americans, which means I can look at you and trace that you are from the continent, except that I can't trace which specific tribe. That's why we use the continent as a whole as a prefix to your current nationality.
So would you call somebody from Haitian, Afro-Haitian, or Afro-Jamaican, or Afro-Trinidadian?
Now, very good point. You see, those who live in the Caribbean, they are homogeneous by skin color and they don't have any mix of people. So you just call them Jamaicans, Haitians. You don't say Afro. But Brazil is not originally all black Caribbean country. It was Portuguese, and then they took blacks there. So to differentiate, you say Afro-Brazilians. Yeah. So that is the difference.
Yeah.
Okay? So if I look at you, I say, oh, wow, these are brothers and sisters who once could have belonged to. Now, I bet you, if the African Americans who came here had been able to trace their tribes, their country, that kind of thing, you wouldn't look at me and say, I'm a brother. No.
Wherever Bud goes, his harmonica goes with him. It's a pocket full of soul. Now he's living with prostate cancer. He asked his doctor about Xtandi and enzalutamide. Xtandi 40 milligram tablets treats men with prostate cancer that has spread to other parts of the body and responds to a medical or surgical treatment to lower testosterone. Xtandi may cause serious side effects: seizure, a brain condition called PRESS, allergic reactions, heart disease that can lead to death, falls and bone fractures, swallowing problems, or choking that can lead to death. Stop Xtandi and get medical help at once if your face, tongue, lip, or throat start swelling. Tell your doctor at once if you faint, have a seizure, quickly worsening headache, decreased alertness, confusion, vision problems, chest pain or discomfort, or shortness of breath. Xtandi can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during and 3 months after Xtandi. Common side effects include muscle and joint pain, feeling unusually tired, hot flashes, constipation, less appetite, diarrhea, high blood pressure, bleeding, falls, fractures, and headache. Talk to your doctor and visit Xtandi.com.
Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration, and use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
I'm telling you, without that information, I want to call you a brother. Oh, no, I admire it. Yeah. I admire it because I know it's a very endearing word that African Americans use here to show that we are in a struggle together. Okay, I understand that. We're unified to build together. So I think you're looking.
Okay, so that is what he was saying. Right. He said something was interesting, that I educate for a reason. I do. Yeah. I also uneducate. Meaning there are certain promises we are being given. It's just diverting us, and it's not going to happen. You're not going to have a Pan-Africanism. That is one. It is only for groups of people who are thinking that there's a reason they can't build South Africa. So now you're looking to join because misery loves company.
Don't let Dr. Umar hear you say that.
So no, I don't believe in Pan-Africanism. It was created after. Okay, Kwame Nkrumah made it popular, but even though it was created a long time ago, Kwame Nkrumah, and why was it created here? It makes sense. Because when you are in captivity outside, you long for the people there. You remember the song By the Rivers of Babylon. Here we sat and we remembered Zion, even they don't know. So you are remembering Zion.
So it's fine for you to have that need to say, look, if I can only connect with my people. But I am realistic that unless you and I, one-on-one, we decide on how we want to relate, there is nothing common and natural that is going to make me and you ever understand each other easily as an African-American and I. Impossible.
Well, do you think that we're intentionally divided? Intentionally divided? Black people?
No. Which one?
Africa from African Americans?
No. It's just natural because we don't have anything in common, man. You're not intentionally divided. What do you mean? You were intentionally separated by being taken away from the continent. Now, you are asking for a unity with Africans on the continent. We have huge problems of our own. Curable diseases we can cure. Okay? All right. Inside the United States, the African Americans themselves don't get along. Yes. Crime and killings in Chicago, Baltimore, LA, Detroit, you name it. In Bridgeport. You know, I'm the gun violence director for my city. So you go to New Haven, Hartford, Waterbury, and Bridgeport. And we don't shoot Asians and white, we shoot each other. Now, when are you going to even fix that to unite in the United States of America first and say, now we can look towards the continent? When we are divided over there, we can't. There's better chance you guys can unite here than we can ever dream. No, don't be fooled by that. And don't let anybody who comes here tells you anything flowery about the continent as if we have accomplished anything. No, we haven't.
I think that's one of the biggest weaknesses of Africa is the lack of unity. I think once the Berlin Conference happened and they started putting these invisible borders and created all these countries, you go in and you conquer Africa because everybody is so segregated. Then you got things of, y'all don't have racism over there. Y'all created your own form of racism called xenophobia. Like y'all don't even experience racism, but y'all needed to create some system to divide each other. So y'all created xenophobia. You discriminate against somebody because y'all from a different country. You see them as an enemy. It's no different from gang violence. These are the people that look like you and they don't respect or want to unify. They see each other as the enemy. That's the issue.
Like, I'm telling you, when Frank talks about African American, he points also onto the continent. You have missed the similarities I'm trying to display. It blew me away when I arrived here, man. I'm telling you, when I arrived here, I was yearning for some black women. I mean, I've seen them in movies like sisters are fine, not the fat ones on the continent. Okay? Until I got here and I said, I can't. I can't, and I'm telling you the truth. I can't. African Americans are impossible.
So you wouldn't date an African American woman?
He said he married one. His first wife.
Okay. Seriously, I'm being honest, man. Because as soon as I walk in here today, I knew I would speak freely.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Okay. And I'm telling you, I don't take anything against African Americans. Come to my city and see me and African Americans, man. Every Father's Day, cards are coming in from all my students. They call me dad. I'm a surrogate to 3 different African American kids who didn't know their dad. I was an MC yesterday. I have to take one with me. But I'm not fooling them that it's because I love you and I want to connect and I want to unite. No, because my worldview, as I was raised in my tribe, as my grandfather explained it to me, as an Ajaman, that's my tribe, okay? When you step outside here, anything in front of you, find a way to embrace it. Find a way for that thing to have part of you. So everywhere I have lived, that worldview is the reason I am a human being, because that's what I believe. So when I went to Japan, it took only 3 months. I started feeling, uneasy because language difference, everything. So I went to my landlord and I said, where is the community center? They call it Kominkan. He said, what do you want to? I said, I want to study Japanese. And he took me. And I said, I would teach English. Because there were housewives, plenty, right? And homeowners. And foreigners were coming to Japan back in the early 90s and late 80s. So they all embraced it. They thought I was being kind. No, that is me being driven to say, I need to form oneness. Now I am here. And that is it. Next town was asking for me. Next town, I became very popular. I have breakfast with the mayor almost every weekend. As soon as I arrived in Bridgeport, yes, I could have left and gone to California. I could have gone anywhere. But
I have been, a board member of the International Institute of Connecticut. I've been on 2 different mayors' board, youth development board for my own. It's me just picking something in front of you because that worldview, my culture says, everywhere you live, if you don't make yourself part of that place, you are not fully human and your success is limited. So that drives me for community service.
Yeah. Again, I do want to cut the conversation here because we've been here for. Our editor is probably upset at us right now. Like, yeah, I gotta do. But again,
this is the longest episode
for sure. I do appreciate both of you gentlemen being on this platform. I learned a lot. I hope everybody that was watching, y'all learned something that caused y'all to, maybe think a little deeper. Again, Dave, let them know where they can follow you at.
You can follow me on all social media platforms at The Business Bully. Make sure you get my book, The Real Black Agenda, at therealblackagenda.com, man. And Frank's got his copy.
And boy, it's going to be my reading.
Yes, sir.
And Frank, let them know where they can find you at.
So yes, my platform on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram is Zanu, Z-A-N-U, Project Rethink. Yes.
And listen, we got a ton of questions. We didn't even get to go through. Join the Patreon, man. We're going to try to get some extra questions in over there. So make sure y'all join the Patreon, link in the description. And we see you guys on the next one.
Hey, Ryan Reynolds here for Mint Mobile. One of the perks about having 4 kids that you know about is actually getting a direct line to the big man up north. And this year, he wants you to know the best gift that you can give someone is the gift of Mint Mobile's unlimited wireless for $15 a month. Now, you don't even need to wrap it. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Scared.